Chapter 3300. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were extremely fast and appeared beside the woman in a flash. At the same time, they reached out and pressed their palms on the woman's back. Spiritual power surged into the woman's body and suppressed her violent spiritual power fluctuation. After stopping the woman's crazy thoughts, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun did not stop. Instead, they restrained the woman in the blink of an eye. At this point in the battle, the woman indeed did not have much power to resist. After being captured by Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, the woman only said coldly, "Kill me if you want." Even though she had already been defeated and had become Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's prisoner, the woman still looked fearless. Xiao Chun did not care much about this. With the woman's hatred for the two of them, this was not strange. He brought the woman to a safe place. Facing Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, the woman simply closed her eyes. She did not want to communicate with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun at all. Looking at the woman's appearance, Xiao Chun knew that even if he asked, there would probably not be any results. In this case, it was better to find the answer by himself. He grabbed the woman's arm and said indifferently, "Help me look after him." "Okay." With his eyes closed, Xiao Chun controlled his spiritual power to enter the woman's body. Sensing this, the woman, who originally had her eyes closed, suddenly opened them at this moment and roared angrily. "What are you trying to do?" Xiao Chun's action was obviously to investigate her secrets. This was definitely unacceptable to anyone. However, since the woman had already been defeated and had become their prisoner, who would care about this? Moreover, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were not people who would have tender feelings for the fairer sex. Therefore, after hearing the woman's angry roar, Xiao Chun completely ignored her. Lin Yun directly injected a stream of spiritual energy into the woman's body and sealed her voice, making her unable to speak again, unable to make a sound or move. The woman could only look at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun hatefully, but she couldn't do anything. On the other side, as Xiao Chun probed the woman's body, Xiao Chun's heart was in turmoil. How is this possible? Under such circumstances, there are almost no secrets that women could keep from Xiao Chun. And the first thing Xiao Chun noticed was the woman's age. One had to know that as a war ancestor realm king, although she looked like a young girl, in reality, she was most likely someone who had lived for at least 1,000 years. After all, even if Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were so heaven-defying, when they broke through to the war ancestor realm, they were still more than 500 years old. Cultivating to the war ancestor realm in 500 years was already an extremely heaven-defying thing. But this woman, judging from her bone age, she was actually less than 300 years old. A 300-year-old war ancestor realm king. What kind of concept was that? At least Xiao Chun and Lin Yun had never seen such a person. To be honest, Xiao Yao, Xiao Lao, and the others were not much younger than the woman in front of them. But now, what kind of cultivation were they? The gap was simply too big. How did this woman cultivate? At first, he was shocked, but soon Xiao Chun found the answer. It was the woman's bloodline power. It was too rich, too heaven-defying, too terrifying. After living for so many years and being a war ancestor realm king, Xiao Chun dared to say that he had seen a lot of bloodline power. But he had never seen any bloodline power that could be compared to the woman in front of him. What a terrifying bloodline power. Moreover, after a careful investigation, Xiao Chun finally solved the doubts in his heart. He also found the answer to the inexplicable sense of familiarity from before. However, even so, the doubts in Xiao Chun's heart grew even greater, because this was simply impossible. He retracted his hand and slowly opened his eyes, exhaling a mouthful of turbid air. Seeing this, Lin Yun asked curiously, "How is it? Did you get anything?" Lin Yun had always felt that it was a little strange. Why didn't Xiao Chun kill this woman? Why was he so curious about her? Xiao Chun's actions, in Lin Yun's opinion, were definitely not without reason. Facing Lin Yun's question, Xiao Chun slowly said, "Guess how old this woman is this year? War Ancestor Realm King. She's at least 500 years old. She just turned 300 today." When Xiao Chun said this, even Lin Yun was slightly stunned. A 300-year-old war ancestor realm king. How heaven-defying was her talent. involuntarily looking at the woman whose face was still filled with anger. Lin Yun said somewhat gloomily, "I'm sure I'm not mistaken. Bone age doesn't lie. But how is this possible? A 300-year-old war ancestor realm king. Bloodline power. The reason why this woman was able to possess a war ancestor realm cultivation at such a young age was because of her bloodline power. Without the support of such a powerful bloodline power, it was impossible to do this." Although Lin Yun was surprised, she still nodded. After all, this was the only explanation. But what kind of bloodline power could do such a terrifying thing? All right, didn't you ask me why I was so curious about this woman? Actually, from the moment she appeared, I felt that her bloodline power was very familiar, as if I had come into contact with it somewhere before. That's why I kept her, Xiao Chun said bluntly. Hearing this, Lin Yun nodded slightly. What about now? Do you have an answer? Yes. Her bloodline power is very close to the Feng people. Feng people? Hearing this, Lin Yun was stunned again. This woman's bloodline power was similar to the Feng people? This was impossible. Could it be that this woman was a clansman of the Feng people? And then she was trapped in the underground abyss? But that wasn't right either. A person who broke through the war ancestor realm at the age of 300 was definitely considered a peerless genius among the Feng people. With the Feng people's personality, they definitely wouldn't give up on her. Not to mention anything else, the Feng people absolutely value their own disciples and were extremely protective of them. This was also the reason why, even if you were a king, you wouldn't dare to attack the disciples of the Feng people. There was no reason for the Feng people not to rescue a disciple of the Heaven sect who was trapped in the underground abyss. The doubts grew bigger and bigger. Looking at Lin Yun's face full of doubts, Xiao Chun was also the same. However, I've checked carefully. Although it's very similar to the Feng people, it's not the bloodline power of the Feng people. This woman isn't a disciple of the Feng people, but she, or rather her race, should be related to the Feng people. Otherwise, it's impossible to have such a close bloodline power. Yes, that's right. It seems that this underground abyss is not simple. Have we been tricked by Tiantai? I guess so. This guy probably knows something, but he didn't tell us. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:01. At this point, Xiao Chan and Lin Yun were naturally certain that the Earth Abyss Evil Cave was definitely not as simple as it seemed on the surface. At least, it was not as simple as Tiantai said. He definitely knew some secrets, but did not tell the two of them. In an instant, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun realized that they had been used by Tiantai. Although Tiantai did not have any intention of harming the two of them, and everything might just be for revenge against the Feng people, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were still very displeased at this moment. Nonsense. Anyone would be displeased to be used like this. However, it was not the time to think about these things now. They had to wait until they got out of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. Moreover, what exactly did Tiantai want to use the two of them for? What was the purpose of the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? The most direct way to understand all of this was naturally to find out from the mouth of the woman in front of them. She gave Lin Yun a look and instantly understood what Xiao Chen meant. Lin Yun removed the seal on the woman so that she could speak freely. As soon as she spoke, the woman naturally cursed without hesitation. Kill me if you want. We have no intention of killing you. We didn't enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave to kill people. Xiao Chan was not surprised by this at all, so he asked plainly. Hearing this, the woman fell silent and looked at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun suspiciously. After a while, she spoke slowly. Who are you lying to? If we were lying to you, would you still be alive to speak here? Actually, you don't have to do this at all. We just have some doubts in our hearts and want to ask you. Under Xiao Chen's words, the woman gradually calmed down and was no longer as angry as before. Looking at the woman, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun also felt a little helpless. This woman was powerful, and most importantly, she was extremely talented. However, she was very inexperienced. It was as if she had not experienced any hardships and could easily trust others. Just like now, with just a few words, the woman almost believed Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. This was indeed a little hasty. However, this was naturally good news for Xiao, Chun, and Lin Yun, so the two of them did not say much. After a moment of silence, the woman finally spoke. "All right, I'll believe you for now." He was so naive that he believed her just like that. Then, in order to show his sincerity, Xiao Chun released the seal on the woman's body and allowed her to recover her cultivation. The three of them found a safe place and sat down cross-legged. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun began to ask about the Earth Abyss Evil Cave. However, the woman knew very little about the underground abyss. She was born in the underground abyss and had never been to the outside world. However, he had heard from his parents that the outside world was very dangerous, especially the people outside. Each and every one of them was treacherous and cunning, so he should never have any dealings with them. It was precisely because of this influence from a young age that the woman hated Xiao Chun so much. After all, according to what his parents had told him, the humans in the outside world were all bad people who would harm her. "It's precisely because of this that I attacked you directly when I saw you. Moreover, I saw you kill some of my own kind before, so I thought you were bad people. I'm sorry." The woman actually took the initiative to apologize. This made Xiao Chun and Lin Yun involuntarily laugh bitterly. With continuous contact, the two of them had basically figured out this woman's character. To put it simply, this woman had absolutely heaven-defying talent, but her character was like a little girl who did not know the ways of the world. She was like a lady from a wealthy family who had lived in a deep house since she was young. She was pure and had a certain talkative attribute. Now, Xiao Chun basically did not need to say anything. This woman directly said everything, which indeed saved Xiao Chun a lot of trouble. After listening to the woman say a lot of things, Xiao Chun asked casually, "By the way, after the two of us came in, we encountered some monsters without spiritual intelligence. What are those things?" There were two types of life in the abyss of the evil cave. One type was like the woman, who had spiritual intelligence, and the other type was without spiritual intelligence. Hearing this, the woman replied straightforwardly, "Them? Those monsters without spiritual intelligence are called cyan, but I don't know how they came about. These cyan indeed have no spiritual intelligence. Not only did they kill their own kind, but they also attacked us from time to time. It's really annoying." Cyan? Hearing this, Xiao Chun fell silent. In other words, the cyan and the woman's race did not have much to do with each other. Just as Xiao Chun was silent, the woman took the initiative to speak. "Also, my name is Huang Lin. I have a name." After talking to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, Huang Lin gradually let down her guard against the two of them. She even took the initiative to tell them her name. Hearing this, Xiao Chun smiled and introduced the two of them. The last question, which was also the question that Xiao Chun was most concerned about, was Huang Lin's bloodline. "Huang Lin, do you know about the Foam People?" Huang Lin's bloodline was too similar to the Foam People's. Although it was different, it gave people a sense of compatibility. Instinctively, Xiao Chun felt that Huang Lin and the Foam People should be related somehow. However, after hearing this, Huang Lin asked curiously, "Foam People? I've never heard of them. What are they? Are they also a race? Are they from the outside world?" Perhaps because Huang Lin had never been in contact with the outside world, she was extremely interested in the outside world. After getting familiar with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, Huang Lin asked them curiously, "That's strange. Oh yes, Huang Lin, what is the name of your race?" "Us? It's called the Phoenix race." "Phoenix?" After hearing this, Xiao Chun was even more puzzled. What kind of secret was hidden in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? He wanted to find the answer, but it was a pity that Huang Lin did not know anything. She had lived in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave since she was young, and she had never heard of many secrets. It seemed that they could only ask Huang Lin's parents if they wanted to know the secret. However, Huang Lin was a warlord at the warlord realm. How powerful were her parents? Were they sovereigns? For a moment, Xiao Chun hesitated. After all, he could see that Phoenix was not friendly to outsiders. Would it be dangerous to go there rashly? However, if they did not go, what could they do in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave? The Earth Abyss Evil Cave was completely different from what they had imagined. No matter if they wanted to break through to the sovereigns or to understand the secret, they could not avoid coming into contact with Phoenix, begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3302. Xiao Chun and Lin Yin only knew some superficial information from Huang Lin. Their real questions were not answered. If they wanted to know the answer, they would have to go to Phoenix. According to Huang Lin, the entire Earth Abyss was Phoenix's territory. Phoenix had no natural enemies here. It would not be difficult for Phoenix to deal with the so-called Qin clan. However, the Qin clan seemed to be endless. Under normal circumstances, Phoenix could not be bothered to deal with them. Seeing that Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were deep in thought, Huang Lin asked curiously, "What's wrong? Why aren't you talking?" With Huang Lin's naivety, she naturally could not guess what Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were thinking about. Xiao Chun thought about it and smiled. "Huang Lin, both of us are not familiar with the Earth Abyss at all. What do you think will happen if we are caught by Phoenix?" "Well, if it was in the past, we would definitely be killed." Phoenix naturally did not have any good feelings towards outsiders. Hence, once they met them, they would kill them directly. In the past 100 years, there would be outsiders who entered from time to time. Once they were met by Phoenix, they would be killed immediately. At this point, Huang Lin paused for a while and revealed a proud smile. "However, we are friends now, so don't worry. Even if Phoenix meets you, I can protect you." Hearing this, Xiao Chun paused for a moment and then asked, "Will Phoenix listen to you?" "Of course. My father is the patriarch of Phoenix. They won't dare to not listen to me." Oh my God, Xiao Chun had long realized that Huang Lin's identity was not simple. Otherwise, she would not have such a pure and powerful bloodline power. However, he did not expect her to be the daughter of the patriarch of Phoenix. Although he did not know much about Phoenix, Xiao Chun could guess that the daughter was a warlord of the warlord realm. As the patriarch, her father had to be at least an emperor. Moreover, everyone knew that there was a ruler in the underground abyss. It seemed that the ruler was probably the little girl's father. However, he did not know how many emperors there were in Phoenix. However, after knowing Huang Lin's identity, Xiao Chun suddenly had a bold idea. That was to go to Phoenix. With the girl around, they should be able to ensure their safety. However, it was hard to say. Looking at Xiao Chun's constantly changing expression, Lin Yun seemed to have guessed something and asked in disbelief. "Don't tell me that." He didn't say it explicitly, but the meaning was clear. Xiao Chun nodded and said, "That's right. Whether it's to break through to the Emperor realm or for other reasons, I'm afraid we have to go to Phoenix." Xiao Chun thought that unless the two of them left the Earth Abyss now, they would definitely have to come into contact with Phoenix. Now that they knew Huang Lin, to be honest, the situation was much better. Hearing Xiao Chun's answer, Lin Yun was a little speechless. This was definitely an extremely crazy idea. If they were not careful, they might die. However, Lin Yun did not know how to refute Xiao Chun. After all, the two of them had already come this far. It was absolutely impossible to give up now. After thinking for a while, Lin Yun turned to look at Huang Lin and said, "Huang Lin, are you sure that the people of Phoenix will listen to you?" "Of course, don't worry. With me around, you'll be fine." Huang Lin nodded in agreement. Seeing this, Lin Yun sighed helplessly and did not say anything more. Xiao Chun took over the topic. "Huang Lin, to be honest, we came to the Earth Abyss to break through to the next realm. Therefore, we might have to make a trip to Phoenix and perhaps meet your father." Xiao Chun did not want to lie to Huang Lin. Of course, he could not lie to her either. For such a simple person, if he got along well with her, she would return the favor 100 times over. However, if you wanted to deceive or even use her, you might succeed for a while. However, once you were discovered by the other party, the outcome would definitely not be good. Therefore, Xiao Chun bluntly stated his purpose. Huang Lin's reaction was the same as Xiao Chun's. She did not think much about it and immediately nodded in agreement. "All right, then let's go back now. Don't worry, with me around, you won't be in danger." Saying this, Huang Lin happily brought Xiao Chun and Lin Yun back to Phoenix. Just as Xiao Chun and the rest were heading to Phoenix, on the other side, the Feng people. At this moment, in a small world that was listed as a forbidden area, the Feng people were in a small world. The reason why it was called the Forbidden Area was because it was the place where the two patriarchs of the Feng people were in seclusion. At this moment, a man and a woman were sitting opposite each other. The two of them were the patriarchs of the Feng people, and they were at the level of emperors. The old woman of the two looked at the old man opposite her and said with a calm expression, "Have you heard about what happened outside?" "Of course I have." Initially, there were only two warlord realm sovereigns. However, now that the Earth Abyss is involved, it's a little troublesome. Do you think those guys will enter the Earth Abyss? Old O was a little worried. Those juniors in the clan would enter the Earth Abyss without knowing anything. That would be troublesome. However, the old man was extremely confident in his words. They won't. They won't dare to go against their ancestors' teachings. In the Feng people's ancestors' teachings, the first rule was that the disciples of the Feng people were not allowed to enter the Earth Abyss under any circumstances. Although almost all the disciples of the Feng people did not know why they were not allowed to enter the Earth Abyss, they did not dare to go against their ancestors' teachings. This was because the Feng people's ancestors' teachings were very strict. Once they violated it, their cultivation would be crippled and they would be expelled from the clan. In the worst case, they would die. This was not tolerated at all. Hearing the old man's words, Old O nodded slightly. Then, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. It's Tian Tai again. He really thinks that the Feng people will not dare to do anything to him. In my opinion, we should not have cared about the palace of the Star Lord back then. We should have killed him directly. Then, there wouldn't have been so much trouble. Speaking of Tian Tai, Old O was obviously filled with murderous intent. Moreover, he did not seem to be worried about the punishment from the palace of the Star Lord. Hearing those words, the old man shook his head and said, "The palace of the Star Lord should be more careful. We still have to be careful with the Star Lord Hall. After all, there are some things that can only be used once. You don't really think that person will still care about old friendships, do you? I know that. However, I don't understand why he would treat the Feng people like that. He's simply an ungrateful wretch. Be careful with your words." Hearing those words, the old man immediately interrupted. These words could not be spoken carelessly. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. Chapter 3303. It was a serious matter to talk about the Star Lord behind his back. Even though the two of them were the Laozu of the Feng people, they could not say such things. After being reprimanded by the old man, the old lady kept quiet. Indeed, although the Feng people were powerful, they could not be compared to the Hall of the Star Lord. Moreover, for so many years, the reason why the Feng people could be so unscrupulous and overbearing without any signs of decline was closely related to the Hall of the Star Lord. Let's not get involved in the matters of the Phoenix people. Let's just wait outside. At last, the old man said, and the two of them fell into silence. The two Laozu of the Feng people definitely knew the secret of the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. However, they were wary of it. The Feng people did not dare to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Den inside the Earth Abyss Evil Den. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were led by Huang Lin to the core of the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. Along the way, they saw many Cyans wandering around the Earth Abyss Evil Denver. At the same time, Xiao Chun also saw some martial artists from the Phoenix people. When they saw Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, their attitude was very bad. Without saying a word, they were ready to take action. However, without exception, they were all reprimanded by Huang Lin in the end. Just like what Huang Lin had said, she had a high status in the Phoenix people. She was like the little princess of the Phoenix people. In the face of Huang Lin's obstruction, although the martial artists from the Phoenix people were unhappy and unwilling, they had no choice but to obey. With Huang Lin protecting Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, no one else could lay a hand on them. How is it? I didn't lie to you, right? Don't worry, with me around, you'll be fine. Along the way, Huang Lin said proudly. She was like a child who had done something and was showing off to the adults, wanting to be praised. Hearing this, Xiao Chun smiled bitterly and nodded. Huang Lin, not bad. We have underestimated you. I told you so. Seeing that Huang Lin's position in Phoenix was so high, Xiao Chun relaxed a little. After all, The more effective Huang Lin's words were, the safer they would be. Of course, the most important factor was the attitude of Huang Lin's parents. As long as Huang Lin's parents did not intend to kill Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, then Xiao Chun and Lin Yun would not have to worry about their own safety. Obviously, all of this would have to wait until they reached the Phoenix tribe. The area of the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern was not large, so it did not take long for Xiao Chun and the others to arrive at Phoenix's location. It was a city that didn't look very big, but it was very simple. There was actually a city in the abyss of Evil Cavern, and this was where the Phoenix clan was located. The people who lived here were all members of the Phoenix clan. According to Huang Lin, there were about 200,000 Phoenix clansmen living in the city. As they walked into the city, they could clearly feel that all the Phoenix clansmen were looking at them with unfriendly gazes. If it were not for Huang Lin, the Phoenix clansmen would have attacked them. Ignoring the murderous gazes, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun walked towards the center of the city. After entering the city, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun could clearly feel that there was spiritual energy in the city, which was different from the spiritual energy outside the city. Although it was not rich, at least it could not be compared to the outside world. This was the abyss of Evil Cavern. It was not easy to have such spiritual energy. Moreover, although the spiritual energy was not much, it was enough to satisfy the needs of normal cultivation. Array. Lin Yun secretly sent a voice transmission to Xiao Chun. That's right, all of this was due to the array. The entire city was enveloped by a huge array. Perhaps it was a spirit-gathering array, but it should be of a very high grade. Hence, all the spiritual energy that could enter the abyss of Evil Cavern was gathered here. Xiao Chun did not expect the Phoenix clan to have such a trick up their sleeves. In an instant, Xiao Chun became more interested in the Phoenix clan. Xiao Chun's intuition told him that the Phoenix clan was not simple. Just as Xiao Chun and the other two were walking towards the center of the city, in a huge mansion in the center, Huang Lin's residence. In one of the gardens, a middle-aged man sat in a pavilion. Below him, an old man spoke with a complicated expression. Young lady and the two outsiders have entered the city. Lao Zhu, should we? In the old man's opinion, Huang Lin was simply fooling around this time. She actually mixed with the outsiders and even brought them into the Phoenix clan. However, the middle-aged man did not mind and waved his hand. Let them come in directly. There's no need to stop them. Unlike the other Phoenix clan members, the middle-aged man did not seem to have a deep hatred towards Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Hearing this, the old man wanted to say something but was interrupted by the middle-aged man. Seeing this, the old man had no choice but to nod his head and turn around to leave. With the middle-aged man's order, Xiao Chun and the rest naturally entered the mansion without any obstructions. At this moment, Huang Lin said happily, "Xiao Chun, Lin Yun, this is my home. How is it? Not bad, right?" Yes, it's indeed not bad. Although this mansion was simply too ordinary to Xiao Chun. Seeing Huang Lin's happy expression, Xiao Chun did not say anything. Just as the three of them were talking, the old man from before appeared and brought the three of them to the garden where the middle-aged man was. It was not clear why the middle-aged man wanted to see the two outsiders. In the old man's opinion, these outsiders should be killed immediately. Along the way to the backyard garden, Huang Lin saw the middle-aged man and ran forward happily. "Father, you crazy girl, you've been running around all day. What if you encounter any danger?" The middle-aged man looked at Huang Lin dotingly and scolded jokingly. It was obvious that the middle-aged man doted on Huang Lin very much. The father and daughter were lovey-dovey for a while before the middle-aged man looked at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Under the middle-aged man's gaze, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's hearts tightened because this middle-aged man gave Xiao Chun and Lin Yun a very strange feeling. It was not that they had never seen an emperor before, but the middle-aged man gave Xiao Chun and Lin Yun a feeling that he had surpassed an emperor. But what kind of realm was beyond an emperor? A Star Lord level existence. But it was impossible. There could only be one Star Lord in a galaxy. Therefore, this middle-aged man could not possibly be a Star Lord level existence. But if he was not a Star Lord, what cultivation level was he? In any case, The middle-aged man gave off an extremely dangerous vibe to Xiao Chun and Lu Xian. He was far more dangerous than other emperors and even Black Granny. Request collection, request monthly votes, request recommendation. Chapter 3304. Under the gaze of the middle-aged man, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were on their guard. In response, the middle-aged man suddenly smiled faintly. "Don't be nervous, Lin. Go and see your mother. She is worried sick about you." The middle-aged man turned around and said to Huang Lin. It was obvious that he wanted to send Huang Lin away. Huang Lin hesitated. "Father." Huang Lin naturally knew that Phoenix hated outsiders. She didn't want anything to happen to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly and shook his head. "You are a grown woman. Don't worry, I won't hurt them. Go and see your mother." Under her father's request and repeated guarantee, Huang Lin finally agreed. However, before she left, she repeatedly reminded her father not to hurt Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. The middle-aged man said helplessly as he watched Huang Lin leave, "This girl is spoiled by her mother. Have a seat. My name is Huang Yi. Don't worry, I promised her that I won't hurt you." Huang Yi gestured for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to take a seat. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun sat opposite Huang Yi. Huang Yi waved his hand and gestured for the old man to leave. Soon, only Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun were left in the courtyard. Huang Yi said with a smile as he brewed a cup of tea for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. "It's not the same here as outside. Make do with it." Xiao Chun and Lin Yun looked at each other, and Xiao Chun said doubtfully, "Senior, have you been to the outside world?" From Huang Yi's words, he seemed to know the outside world very well. In that case, he should have been to the outside world. However, could the people in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave leave the outside world? It shouldn't be possible. At least Huang Lin said that every time they approached the entrance, they would be repelled by a huge force. They couldn't leave this place at all. In that case, how did Huang Yi know about the outside world? Could it be? Xiao Chen's mind raced, but he soon guessed something. In response, Huang Yi said with a smile, "You guessed right. I was not born here. I came from the outside world." There was only one possibility for Huang Yi to be so familiar with the outside world. He wasn't born in the Earth Abyss Evil Cave, but came from the outside world. But there were more and more doubts in his heart. Seeing this, Huang Yi said calmly, "Is it strange? To tell you the truth, this Earth Abyss Evil Cave is completely different from what we imagined. Moreover, the two of us can sense that there might be an enormous secret hidden within it. That's right. This underground abyss is indeed hiding a very deep secret. Actually, the two of you entered this Earth Abyss Evil Cavern to seek an opportunity to break through, right? After so many years, some outsiders have indeed entered the Earth Abyss Evil Cave to seek opportunities. Some people succeeded, but most of them were left here forever. Some of them were killed by Qing, but most of them were killed by me, Phoenix." He directly pointed out the purpose of Xiao Chun and Huang Yi's visit. There is only one reason for outsiders to enter the Earth Abyss Evil Cave, and that was to seek the possibility of breaking through to become a ruler. Xiao Chun did not hide this. After all, there was nothing to hide. Seeing Xiao Chun nod, Huang Yi said with a smile, "I don't know why Lin values you so much, but since she likes you, I won't make things difficult for you. Tell me, why did you insist on coming here? What do you want to ask?" Huang Yi went straight to the point. Xiao Chun did not beat around the bush and asked bluntly. "Senior, to be honest, from the moment I saw Huang Lin, I had doubts in my heart. Huang Lin's bloodline power." He repeated the question that he had asked Huang Lin to Huang Yi. However, after hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huang Yi fell silent. He did not speak for a long time, and Xiao Chun and Lin Yun did not urge him. They just waited quietly at the side. After 10 minutes, Huang Yi asked in a low voice, "Are you sure you want to know this? It's not good to know some things." Huang Yi's words were a warning. He could answer Xiao Chen's question, and he knew the answer. However, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun would not benefit much if they knew these secrets. In response, Xiao Chen nodded without much hesitation. Seeing this, Huang Yi smiled and said, "Fine, since that's the case, I'll tell you." This place is called the Earth Abyss Evil Cave in the outside world, right? That's right. Actually, this is just a small world that was opened up. Moreover, it's a sealed place that can even trap a sovereign. As for me, I was not born here. I came from the outside world. Senior, you're saying that you're sealed here and trapped here? That's right. Not only me, but the ancestors of Phoenix were also imprisoned here. Only juniors like Lynn were born here. Therefore, she has never been to the outside world. The entire Phoenix was trapped here by someone. Why was this so? And who did this? Even a sovereign could be trapped here? Things seem to be getting out of hand. However, Huang Yi did not seem to care about Xiao Qin's doubts and continued speaking. And Lin Er's bloodline power. You just said that Lin Er's bloodline power is very similar to that of the Feng people. It can even be said that they complement each other, right? That's right. That's why I'm so concerned. To be honest, I was forced to enter this place by the Feng people. Oh, you're very similar to the Feng people's character. You're still so unscrupulous. Hearing this, Huang Yi chuckled with interest. Actually, it's not difficult to explain. Your bloodline power is so similar. In fact, you should have guessed it yourself, but you're not sure. The reason why the bloodline power of Phoenix and the Feng people are so close is actually because our two races are of the same bloodline and complement each other. What? Hearing this, even Xiao Chun could not remain calm. The Phoenix and the Feng people were of the same bloodline? How is this possible? In that case, the Phoenix was trapped here by the Feng people? But why did the Feng people do this? Seeing Xiao Qin's shocked expression, Huang Yi seemed to have recalled something from the past and continued speaking. The Feng people and the Phoenix can be said to be the earliest races to be born in this galaxy. At the beginning of their birth, there was no distinction between the Feng people and the Phoenix. Instead, they were collectively called the Phoenixes. The Phoenix is Yin, and the Huang is Yang. The birth of the Phoenixes, Huang Yi, was like the creation of heaven and earth. Yin and Yang are compatible, and they were born with advantages that other races did not have. Huang Yi spoke slowly, and every word he said shocked Xiao Chun and Lin Yan. Who would have thought that the Feng people and the Phoenix had such a relationship? Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 3305. Xiao Chun did not expect that the Feng people and Phoenix were originally from the same bloodline. No wonder Huang Lin's bloodline power was so similar to the Feng people. This was not strange. Looking at Xiao Chun and Lin Yan's shocked expressions, Huang Yi smiled bitterly and shook his head. This was something that happened a long time ago. Before that person appeared, the Feng people and Phoenix could be said to be living in harmony. After the shock, Xiao Chun looked at Huang Yi again and asked, Senior, since Phoenix and the Feng people are the same bloodline, why is Phoenix trapped here? Facing Xiao Chun's question, Huang Yi did not hide anything and said bluntly, Do you know how the Star Lord of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy was born? In response, Xiao Chun and Lin Yan shook their heads. Although the two of them were both kings of the War Ancestor realm, they had never come into contact with the Star Lord. Seeing this, Huang Yi replied unhurriedly. The Star Lord of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy was born from Huang Yi's clan. Some were from the Feng people, and some were from the Phoenix. As the first clan born in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy, Huang Yi's clan naturally had a unique advantage, and this was also the origin of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. Countless Star Lords before, everyone lived in harmony because Huang Yi's clan had its own set of rules. If the Feng people became the Star Lord, then the Feng people would become the main bloodline. If the Phoenix people became the Star Lord, then the Phoenix people would become the main bloodline. It had been like this for countless years until the birth of the current Star Lord. Everything changed. Back then, when competing for the new Star Lord, the competition between the Phoenix people and the Feng people was extremely fierce. Although they were from the same clan, both sides did not give in to each other. In the end, it almost became a fratricide. They carried out assassinations, encirclement, and other methods to kill talented martial artists were endless. In the end, one of the Feng people successfully became the new Star Lord with heaven-defying talent, and the Feng people naturally became the main bloodline of the Huang Yi's clan. Under normal circumstances, the battle between the Feng people and the Phoenix people should stop here. However, this time, the Phoenix clan did not do so. They chose to kill all of them. That's right, the Feng people violated the ancestral rules of the Huang Yi clan. With the support of the Star Lord, they crazily suppressed the Phoenix people. More than half of the strong people of the Phoenix people were killed by the Feng people. In the end, the lucky survivors of the Phoenix people were sealed by the Star Lord and trapped in the so-called Abyss Evil Cave. The Abyss Evil Cave was a small world that the Star Lord personally created to trap the Phoenix people. Perhaps because they were from the same clan, the Star Lord did not kill the Phoenix people. Speaking of this, Huang Yi's tone became a little gloomy. They were originally from the same clan, but in the end, the Phoenix people actually ended up like this. Even Xiao Chun and Lin Yun did not know what to say after hearing this. The Huang Yi clan actually had such a bloody battle. Moreover, the Star Lord was actually the person behind all of this. He was the one who trapped the Phoenix people here for so many years. Almost no one in the outside world knew about the existence of the Phoenix people. After explaining everything to Xiao Chun and the others, Huang Yi let out a sigh of relief and then smiled helplessly. That's all you want to know. He answered all of Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's questions. In response, Xiao Chun looked at Huang Yi with a complicated gaze. Suddenly, a somewhat crazy guess appeared in his heart. Senior, do you know Tian Tai? The two of them entered the Abyss Evil Cave because of Tian Tai. It was Tian Tai who took the initiative to recommend Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to the Abyss Evil Cave. Now that Huang Yi had told them everything, Xiao Chun felt that there must be some secret behind this. This secret was probably planned by Tian Tai and Huang Yi a long time ago, and Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were just executors. Hearing Xiao Chun's words, Huang Yi smiled, but this smile looked a little strange. Yes, it seems that you've already guessed it. It's not difficult to guess. Senior, you've said so much. It's impossible that you don't have any requests, right? What do we need to do? It's very simple. Break the seal and let Phoenix leave this place. Back then, Tian Tai had entered the Abyss Evil Cave and met Huang Yi. It was precisely because of Phoenix's help that Tian Tai was able to break through to become a ruler. Nevertheless, at that time, Tian Tai was unable to break the seal of the Abyss Evil Cave. Therefore, he made a deal with Huang Yi, and that was to do everything he could to help Phoenix escape. Huang Yi also agreed. As for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, they were the key to breaking the seal. They had been used. This was Tian Tai's real goal. Thinking about it, once Phoenix escaped, the situation in the central region and even the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy would change. This would definitely be an unprecedented shock. Moreover, these matters were actually related to the Star Lord, which made things even more complicated. Nevertheless, at this point, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun seemed to have no right to choose. Looking at Huang Yi in front of him, Xiao Chun took a sip of tea and was somewhat speechless. We don't have the right to choose, right? Yes, I, Phoenix, have been trapped here for so many years. I've been looking for a way to get out all the time, and the two of you are our hope. In exchange, I can use the power of the entire Phoenix to help you break through to become rulers. Besides, don't you already have a grudge with the Feng people? If Phoenix leaves, you can deal with the Feng people. This isn't a bad thing for you. Huang Yi stated his conditions. Regarding this, Xiao Chun was somewhat speechless. Senior, does Phoenix have the ability to deal with Star-Lord? Huang Yi wanted to deal with the Feng people, and Star-Lord came from the Feng people. Did Phoenix have the ability to deal with Star-Lord? Hearing this, Huang Yi smiled and did not say anything. There were some things that Xiao Chun and Lin Yun did not know, and there was no need for them to know. Back then, Star-Lord had personally dealt with Phoenix. There must have been a strong request from the Feng people. By making such a decision, Star-Lord had completely severed his relationship with the Feng people. Ever since he sealed Phoenix, Star-Lord was no longer a member of the Feng people. It was precisely because of this that the Feng people had almost no development for so many years. This was because Star-Lord had not given the Feng people any help at all. Besides, The birth of Phoenix did not necessarily mean that they had to fight to the death with the Feng people. After being trapped here for so many years in Huang Yi's heart, the hatred from the past had almost been wiped out. The reason why he wanted to leave this place was that he wanted to fight for a future for Phoenix. After all, Phoenix had no future in the Earth Abyss's evil cave. If this continued, the entire Phoenix would probably completely perish here. That was why Huang Yi had tried his best to leave. It wasn't because he wanted to take revenge. Please add it to your collection. Monthly vote recommended. Chapter 3306. After hearing Huang Yi's words, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun fell silent. Helping Phoenix leave was not a small matter. After all, it involved Star-Lord. Moreover, back then, Phoenix was trapped here by Star-Lord himself. If Xiao Chun and Lin Yun released Phoenix, what would Star-Lord think? Indeed, the conditions offered by Huang Yi were very generous. Not to mention anything else, just breaking through to become a ruler was enough to attract people. But was this benefit so easy to obtain? After pondering for a while, Xiao Chun finally asked curiously, "Senior, if I may be so bold as to ask, your current cultivation base." Huang Yi gave Xiao Chun a very strange feeling. He did not feel like an emperor, but he was even more terrifying than an emperor. Facing Xiao Chun's question, Huang Yi did not hide anything and smiled faintly. "I can be considered a half-step Star-Lord. I've surpassed the Emperor realm, but that's all I'll be in this lifetime. It's impossible for me to break through to become a Star-Lord." Half-step Star-Lord? Surpassed the Emperor realm? He did not expect Huang Yi's cultivation base to be so high. No, it should be said that if it were not for the existence of the current Star-Lord, Huang Yi would have broken through to become a Star-Lord long ago. In response, Xiao Chun continued to ask, "Senior, you have such strength, but you still can't break the seal of this evil abyss. What can the two of us do?" Compared to Huang Yi, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's cultivation bases were still too weak. Since even Huang Yi could not leave the evil abyss, what could Xiao Chun and Lin Yun do? As if he had known that Xiao Chun would ask this question, Huang Yi smiled indifferently. "It's very simple. Bloodline power. The underground abyssal evil cavern exists only to trap us Phoenix. This is also why outsiders can enter the underground abyssal evil cavern at will, but Phoenix people can't leave. The seals here have no effect on you. Similarly, you can destroy them. Phoenix, on the other hand, can't do it. Even I can't do it. As long as our cultivation isn't at the level of Star-Lord, Phoenix can't break the seal of this underground abyss." "Hey." Hearing this, Xiao Chun nodded. "So that's how it is." This time, Huang Yi didn't wait for Xiao Chun's reply and continued. "As for your worries, especially Star-Lord, you don't have to be like this. I've already said before that the current Star-Lord has nothing to do with the Feng people. Back then, when she dealt with Phoenix, she personally swore a heavenly oath in front of me that she would never interfere in the matters between the Feng people and Phoenix again. And she dealt with Phoenix in order to repay the Feng people's kindness of raising her. After all, she was born in the Feng people. Therefore, even if you let Phoenix go, Star-Lord won't have any hatred for the two of you," Huang Yi said confidently. What happened back then was definitely not as simple as it seemed on the surface. First of all, the strength of the two clans. As the first clan to be born in the Fire Phoenix galaxy, whether it was the Feng people or the Phoenix, could it be that their strength was only so little? Obviously, that was impossible. If that was the case, how could Huang Yi's clan be called the #1 clan in the Fire Phoenix galaxy? Before the great battle broke out back then, the number of emperors in Huang Yi's clan was definitely more than 20, and there were at least 50 kings of the War Ancestor realm. However, after the great battle back then, both sides went all out. Many powerhouses of the Feng people and Phoenix had fallen in that great battle. This was also the reason why Star-Lord directly intervened in the end. Because if the battle continued like this, whether it was the Feng people or the Phoenix, they would probably die directly. When Star-Lord made her move, the Feng people only had 2 ancestors left, and the Phoenix only had 1 emperor left, Huang Yi. It could be seen how tragic that battle was. At the end of the battle, Huang Yi and Star-Lord had a four-way agreement. That was, Star-Lord would seal Phoenix and help the Foam People win. However, from then on, Star-Lord would no longer have anything to do with the Foam People, and it was impossible for him to join forces with the Foam People to target Phoenix. It was precisely because of such an agreement and the heavenly oath that Huang Yi was willing to be sealed. Otherwise, if a half-step Star-Lord went crazy, even if he could not defeat Star-Lord, he could definitely drag the entire Foam People down with him. In Huang Yi's heart, there was one thing that he did not tell Shao Chun, and that was that he was the one who competed with Star-Lord back then. It was just that at the last moment, Huang Yi was a little lacking and did not succeed. However, this definitely did not mean that Huang Yi was weak. In the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy, other than Star-Lord, Huang Yi was definitely the strongest person who would not give in. After hearing Huang Yi's words, Shao Chun and Lin Yun did not make up their minds. After all, this matter was of great importance. Seeing this, Huang Yi did not force the two of them. He smiled slightly and said slowly, "There's no rush. The two of you can think about it. Tell me when you have an answer. I will fulfill my promise." In this regard, Shao Chun could only nod in agreement. He indeed needed some time to make a decision. After the conversation ended, Huang Yi also arranged a residence for Shao Chun and Lin Yun. The two of them went to rest. Only Huang Yi was left in the courtyard. At this moment, a token on his waist suddenly flickered with a faint white light. Then, Tian Tai's phantom appeared out of thin air. This was a formation plate that could be connected to each other. When Tian Tai appeared, he first bowed respectfully to Huang Yi, and then asked with some anticipation, "Ancestor, how is it? Did Shao Chun and Lin Yun agree?" "Not yet. It's such a big matter. Naturally, it's impossible for them to agree so easily." In this regard, Huang Yi's mentality was very calm. He was not too disappointed. On the contrary, Tian Tai was a little disappointed. Looking at Tian Tai's appearance, Huang Yi opened his mouth, but did not say anything. Then, Tian Tai's tone was a little cold. "Ancestor, this is our chance. As long as Phoenix can escape, we will definitely be able to kill the Foam People and take revenge." Huang Yi wanted revenge. When he spoke of the Foam People, the killing intent in his words could not be concealed at all. However, in this regard, Huang Yi sighed softly and said somewhat helplessly, "It's been so many years, Tian Tai. There are some things that you don't need to be so stubborn about." "No, Ancestor. How can we not take revenge for the past? Could it be that Ancestor has forgotten how many people from Phoenix died at the hands of the Foam People? If we don't destroy the Foam People, how can we face the ancestors of Phoenix?" The hatred in Tian Tai's heart was so deep that it was beyond anyone's imagination. Even Huang Yi could not persuade him. Looking at Tian Tai's eyes that were already filled with hatred, Huang Yi did not say anything in the end. After so many years, was the hatred from back then still important? Were the Foam People and the Phoenix People really going to perish together? Moreover, so many people from Phoenix had been killed back then, and almost all of them were exterminated. But weren't the Foam People the same? Request collection, request monthly votes, request recommendation. Chapter 3307. Looking at the hatred on Tian Tai's face, Huang Yi felt a little helpless. What happened back then had long passed. Moreover, Huang Yi was considering the destruction of Phoenix. If Phoenix still insisted on taking revenge, Huang Yi could say that the final result would be a lose-lose situation. This was something he did not want to see. Huang Yi looked indifferently at Tian Tai's illusory figure in front of him and said indifferently, "All right, let's not talk about this anymore." "Great Ancestor." Tian Tai wanted to say something, but Huang Yi shouted coldly, "Don't be so stupid." "Enough." After being scolded by Huang Yi, Tian Tai tactfully shut his mouth. Then, his illusory figure slowly dissipated. To be honest, Tian Tai's background was a little complicated. He had the ordinary Phoenix bloodline in his body. Yes, Tian Tai could be considered a Phoenix, but he could not be. This was because his father was a Phoenix, but his mother was not. This was also the reason why Tiantai was not affected when Phoenix and the Foam people fought back then. Even so, Tiantai's father was still killed in that battle. After that, Tiantai entered the Earth Abyss's evil cave. Huang Yi sensed the Phoenix bloodline in Tiantai's body, which helped him break through to become a ruler and allowed him to leave the Earth Abyss's evil cave safely. In terms of talent, Tiantai was indeed not bad. Unfortunately, the hatred in his heart was too deep. This was something that Huang Yi could not do anything about. He did not know that such hatred often needed to be paid with blood in the end. Moreover, this matter concerned the two races. To put it bluntly, this hatred could not be let go in the face of survival. If they continued to fight, what good would happen to Phoenix? The best outcome would be to exterminate the Phoenix race, but at the same time, the Phoenix race would also be annihilated. Was this really the result that everyone wanted to see? With a soft sigh, Huang Yi's figure slowly dissipated. No one knew where he went. While Xiao Chun and the others were meeting with Huang Yi, Elder Master Bai and the Star Lord had returned from the northern region. Those ancient beasts were also successfully sealed by the Star Lord. At this moment, in the Star Lord's palace, Black Matron said bitterly to the two of them. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun went to the underground abyss. It was planned by Tiantai. She definitely had to tell the Star Lord about the Abyss Evil Cavern. Hearing Black Matron's words, Elder Master Bai frowned slightly and said with some dissatisfaction, Tiantai, he doesn't know what's good for him. Could it be that he doesn't know about the Earth Abyss Evil Cavern? Obviously, Elder Master Bai was very dissatisfied when he heard about this, especially because Tiantai actually deliberately planned for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to enter the underground abyss. Black Matron and Elder Master Bai were very clear about the secret of the underground abyss. Moreover, Elder Master Bai was from the Foam people and Black Matron was from Phoenix. However, after they followed the Star Lord, they had already cut off contact with Huang Yi's clan. At this moment, hearing Elder Master Bai's cold snort, Black Matron glanced at him indifferently and said unhurriedly, After so many years, Phoenix has already paid the price. You don't really want to put the entire Phoenix to death, do you? She was obviously dissatisfied with Elder Master Bai's attitude. In this regard, Elder Master Bai was about to refute, but he was interrupted by the Star Lord first. Okay, let's take a look at the underground abyss first. I don't think Huang Yi is so stupid. Let's talk about the Azure Dragon Galaxy for now. The underground abyss and Phoenix were indeed troublesome, but compared to the Azure Dragon Galaxy, they were nothing in the eyes of the Star Lord. After all, whether it was Phoenix or the Foam people, they were all Star Lord subordinates. Even Huang Yi, to put it bluntly, was just a defeated opponent. The Star Lord was able to defeat Huang Yi back then, so he could do the same now. Moreover, with the Star Lord's strength, he was not worried at all that Phoenix and the Foam people would turn the sky upside down. If they really provoked the Star Lord's palace, the Foam people and Phoenix would probably be easily suppressed by the Star Lord. Therefore, the matter between the two clans was not to the point that the Star Lord was worried about for the time being. On the contrary, the Azure Dragon Galaxy was the real big problem now. If it was not handled well, it would become a disaster. Moreover, the Star Lord also knew Huang Yi very well. He was not a stupid person. Hearing the Star Lord's words, Black Matriarch and Elder Master Bai both stopped arguing. Elder Master Bai and I will go to the Western region. Black Matriarch will continue to oversee the Central region. Black Matriarch can make her own decisions about Phoenix and the Foam people. The decision was quickly made. Elder Master Bai and Star Lord quickly set off for the Northern region, while Black Matriarch was left behind to oversee the Central region. In addition, the Star Lord also gave Black Matriarch the right to make her own decisions, which was somewhat thought-provoking. On the way to the Northern region, Elder Master Bai said hesitantly, Master, Black Matriarch is Phoenix. You gave her the right to make her own decisions. If she releases Phoenix, what should we do? Elder Master Bai's worries were not unreasonable, but the Star Lord said indifferently, So what if she is released? It has been so many years. Do you really want Phoenix to be trapped in the so-called abyss of the abyss? As soon as he said this, Elder Masterby was speechless. From his tone, it seemed that the Star-Lord also planned to release Phoenix. But what happened back then? When he thought of the battle back then, Elder Masterby felt that Phoenix must not be released. As if he saw through Elder Masterby's thoughts, the Star-Lord said indifferently, "You know better than me how that battle broke out back then. If it weren't for some people in the phone people who thought that I had become the Star-Lord and wanted to destroy Phoenix in one fell swoop, that battle wouldn't have broken out. I have no intention of dealing with Phoenix, and I don't want to destroy Phoenix. Back then, I sealed Phoenix to end the relationship between the phone people and me. Now that so many years have passed, I have to let go of what should be let go. Also, instead of being wary of Phoenix, I think that the phone people should change. Over the years, haven't the phone people been a bit too much?" At this point, the Star-Lord seemed to glance at Elder Masterby indifferently, although there was a thick layer of spiritual power around him, making it impossible to see the Star-Lord's appearance. Elder Masterby's heart still tightened, because the Star-Lord's next words made Elder Masterby break out in a cold sweat. "Do you still remember what I said back then? After I became the Star-Lord, I was no longer the phone people, but the master of the Fire Phoenix galaxy. In my eyes, there is no difference between the phone people and Phoenix. Over the years, the phone people took advantage of our relationship and did things that I didn't want to care about. I also didn't want to pursue the matter of you cleaning up after the phone people. However, the situation now is different. I hope that the phone people can restrain themselves. This is also the reason why I didn't keep you in the Central region. Do you understand? Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations." In a chapter. Chapter 3308. The Star-Lord had seen everything that the phone people had done over the years. Normally, it was fine, but now, the Star-Lord's patience with the phone people had almost reached its limit. As soon as he said this, Elder Masterby felt his junior break out in cold sweat. Even a fool could tell that the Star-Lord was dissatisfied with the phone people. The Star-Lord had already said that he had nothing to do with the phone people. However, after all these years, the phone people still used the Star-Lord's name to do many shameful things. Normally, the phone people were even more arrogant. This was also why no one dared to provoke the phone people all these years, even though the phone people were not the strongest in the Fire Phoenix galaxy. They were not afraid of the phone people, but of the Star-Lord behind the phone people. However, the phone people's self-righteous backer was already a little unhappy. In addition, Elder Masterby had been on the phone people's side all these years. Therefore, in many matters, Elder Masterby would side with the phone people. Elder Masterby's legs went soft, and he directly knelt in front of the Star-Lord. He broke out in cold sweat as he spoke. "Sir, please spare my life. I know I was wrong. Forget it. I don't want to pursue the past. However, I don't want to see you have anything to do with the phone people in the future. You have to understand that from the moment you followed me, you no longer have anything to do with the phone people. You should learn more from Black Woman." After hearing the Star-Lord's words, Elder Masterby nodded repeatedly. He did not dare to disobey in the slightest. Elder Masterby understood that the reason Star-Lord said this was not only because of the phone people, but also because Star-Lord was planning to release Phoenix. Otherwise, the Star-Lord would not have allowed Black Granny to oversee the Central region and give her the right to make her own decisions. It seemed that because of the pressure from the Azure Dragon Galaxy, the Star-Lord wanted to borrow the power of Phoenix. Other things aside, Huang Yi was definitely a force that could not be ignored. But if that's the case, the phone people. Sigh, I hope they won't do anything stupid. Otherwise, if she wasn't around, Black Matriarch and Huang Yi would be enough to make the phone people suffer. He didn't dare to think about it anymore. At the same time, in the underground abyss's evil cave, Xiao Chun and Lin Yan were discussing Huang Yi's matter in a room. To be honest, the decision to release Phoenix and help Phoenix escape was indeed difficult for Xiao Chun and Lin Yan to make. "How is it? Have you thought about it?" Lin Yan looked at Xiao Chun and asked. In response, Xiao Chun smiled bitterly and shook his head. "How can it be that easy? It's fine for you and me. Even if the Star-Lord blames us, the world is big. Where can't the two of us go? The most important thing is the safety of the people around us. After all, we are no longer alone. With so many considerations, Xiao Chun was never worried about himself, but about his family and friends. What Xiao Chun was most worried about was Qin Shi and the others, as well as Xiao Qing and Bai Ruyue, if they were in danger. Understanding Xiao Qin's meaning, Lin Yun also had the same concerns. People were like this. When they were alone, they had nothing to worry about, but once they had a home, they would have many worries. When making a decision, they would inevitably fall into a dilemma. They wanted to take a risk, but they were afraid of implicating the people around them. However, they wanted to settle down, but they were unwilling. After all, even if opportunities required risks, there was nothing in the world that could be said to be certain. For example, should they agree to Huang Yi's request, or should they refuse? Just as the two of them were hesitating, a figure suddenly appeared at the entrance of the underground abyss's evil cave. It was none other than Black Matron. Black Matron naturally came here to find Huang Yi. Moreover, she had already understood the meaning of the Star Lord when he asked her to take charge of the central region. She didn't hide her aura. At the same time, Huang Yi, who was in the Phoenix, suddenly opened her eyes, and a hint of ridicule flashed in her eyes. It's really lively. I didn't expect that my desolate place would welcome a distinguished guest. After saying that, Huang Yi didn't make any movements, but she disappeared in an instant. When she reappeared, she was already at the entrance, in front of Black Matron. In the face of Huang Yi's sudden appearance, Black Matron didn't change her expression at all, but Huang Yi said with a sneer, "Isn't this the popular person by the Star Lord's side? Why do you have time to come to our place today? Could it be that you are also punished by the Star Lord? But thinking about it, no matter what, you still have the blood of my phoenix. But unfortunately, in the end, you are a traitor." Huang Yi naturally couldn't let go of the fact that Black Matron followed the Star Lord back then. After all, in the end of the battle, the entire Phoenix was left with only two emperors, Huang Yi and Black Matron. But without any warning, Black Matron suddenly chose to defect to the Star Lord and became a loyal dog under the Star Lord. At that time, this made many Phoenix warriors extremely angry. They all thought that Black Matron was a traitor and a disgrace to Phoenix. Hearing Huang Yi's words, Black Matron didn't get angry, but just said a sentence lightly. "You know what happened back then? I just wanted to protect Phoenix." Black Matron defected to the Star Lord just to leave a little incense for Phoenix. After all, at that point in the battle back then, if the Star Lord personally took action, Phoenix would definitely be destroyed. There was no doubt about that. Black Matron's defection was just to let the Star Lord be merciful. And the Star Lord did keep his promise and didn't kill Phoenix, but just trapped them in the Abyss Evil Cave. After not seeing each other for so many years, Huang Yi's expression changed slightly when he heard this, and finally turned into a sigh. "Forget it. Let's not talk about what happened back then. Tell me, what are you doing here?" "Let Phoenix go," Black Matron said bluntly. As soon as these words came out, even Huang Yi was a little stunned. After a while, he looked at Black Matron with a complicated expression. "Are you crazy? Is this the Star Lord's order?" "Her order?" Knowing that it was the Star Lord's order, Huang Yi quickly calmed down and pondered for a moment. Something happened outside. The war with the Azure Dragon Galaxy may break out. No wonder they were willing to release Phoenix. It turned out that war was about to break out. But Huang Yi didn't have much resistance to this. But when he thought about Phoenix's accident, Huang Yi remembered another interesting thing. He wondered what kind of expression the Feng people would have if they saw Phoenix's accident. What about the Feng people? Do they know? If the Feng people knew, they would definitely try their best to stop it, because they absolutely didn't want to see Phoenix escape. In this regard, Black Matron replied without changing her expression. "They don't know yet. The Star Lord went to the Western region, and so did Elder Master Bai. Right now, I'm the only one in charge of the Central region, and I can make all decisions on my own. Please add, please vote, please recommend." Chapter 3309. Black Matriarch said calmly. Hearing her words, Huang, he suddenly laughed. He looked at Black Granny with a burning gaze. Huang, he didn't hate this fellow clansman. Maybe he hated her before, but after so many years, Huang Yi was relieved. Of course, he didn't like her. In Huang Yi's eyes, Black Matriarch was more like a stranger. After laughing, Huang Yi said unhurriedly, "It's been so many years, but you still like to play tricks." How could he not know that Black Matriarch's words just now were to test him? She told him that Star Lord and Elder Master Bai were not here, and that Black Matriarch was finally in charge. If Huang Yi still had thoughts of revenge, he would definitely not be able to resist attacking the phone people. Black Matriarch wanted to test whether he still had thoughts of revenge. If he did, then Black Matriarch probably wouldn't let Phoenix escape. Her thoughts were seen through by Huang Yi at a glance, but Black Matriarch didn't change her expression at all. Instead, she replied very calmly, "I need to be responsible for the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy. Right now, the Fire Phoenix galaxy can't afford to have internal strife." This was Black Matriarch's true thoughts. The Azure Dragon Galaxy's movements were becoming more and more obvious. The war between the two galaxies was already like an arrow on the bow. At this time, if the Fire Phoenix Galaxy still had internal strife, it would only let the Azure Dragon Galaxy take advantage of it. Therefore, if Huang Yi still didn't give up on revenge, then even if Black Matriarch was a member of Phoenix, she wouldn't choose to release Phoenix. Because in Black Matriarch's eyes, compared to the entire Fire Phoenix Galaxy, Phoenix Galaxy was naturally more important. For this reason, Black Matriarch didn't hesitate to give up the entire Phoenix Galaxy in exchange for peace in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. But now it seemed that Huang Yi didn't have any thoughts of revenge and didn't have much hatred for the phone people. This made Black Matriarch secretly relieved. As for how Huang Yi and the other clansmen of Phoenix saw her, Black Matron didn't care, or rather, there was no way to change it. From the moment she chose to follow the Star Lord, she had already left Phoenix. Looking at the calm Black Matriarch, Huang Yi couldn't help but laugh. At the same time, he looked at the empty space behind Black Matriarch and sneered. "Come out. It's rare for you to come here. What's the point of hiding like this?" As Huang Yi's voice fell, two figures slowly appeared behind Black Matriarch. One was a young man, and the other was an old man. These two were definitely famous existences in the Central region. They were the two great ancestors of the Sky Emperor Palace, Sky Splitter and Sky Wutian. In the entire Fiery Phoenix Galaxy, if there was a power that was closest to the Star-Lord's Hall, then it was definitely the Sky Emperor Palace. Even the Phoenixes could only stay far away from the Heavenly Palace. Perhaps the phone people in their heyday could be compared to the Sky Emperor Palace, but with the current strength of the phone people, they were no match for the Sky Emperor Palace. This was because the Sky Emperor Palace had as many as 4 rulers, and each of them was an old monster who had lived for countless years. They were much stronger than Dong Wang and the others. Now that Black Matriarch had invited the two great ancestors of the Sky Emperor Palace, Sky Splitter and Sky Wutian, her meaning was self-evident. In their previous conversation, as long as Huang Yi made Black Matriarch feel that he was a threat to the Fiery Phoenix Galaxy, then the three of them would join forces and kill him here. In an instant, he guessed what Black Matriarch was thinking, but Huang Yi sneered. "You want to kill me with just the 3 of you? Aren't you looking down on me too much?" Black Matriarch, Sky Splitter, and Sky Wutian were indeed very strong. Among the many rulers, they belonged to the top group. However, Huang Yi was now half a step away from being a ruler, so his cultivation was much higher than the 3 of them. Therefore, even if he was facing the siege of the 3 of them, Huang Yi was confident that he would win. At the same time, he sneered at Black Matriarch's thoughts. This guy had really been brainwashed by Star-Lord. Hearing Huang Yi's words, Black Matriarch did not refute him. She only said silently, "As I said, the Fiery Phoenix Galaxy can no longer afford any chaos. So this is a decision that can't be helped. All right, put away your disgusting words. Let's talk about something more practical. To be honest, I don't have any grudges against the phone people, and I don't have to find trouble with the phone people. However, I want one thing." "What is it?" "My Phoenix clan's land." Huang Yi did not have any obsession with revenge. Moreover, after the Phoenix escaped, it was understandable that he wanted to return to the Phoenix clan's land. It was nothing. In response, Black Matre nodded without any hesitation. Okay, I promise you. Hearing Black Matriarch agree so readily, Huang Yi smiled. Black Matriarch probably still did not know the character of the Foam People. After the battle, the Phoenix clan's land had been taken away by the Foam People. It would not be so easy to take it back from the Foam People. However, what did this have to do with Huang Yi? When the time came, he would let Black Matriarch have a headache. In any case, if the Foam People did not hand over the Phoenix clan's land, Huang Yi would have a reason to attack the Foam People. As for Star-Lord, Huang Yi was not worried. At the moment, the fiery Phoenix Galaxy needed his help because without him, no one in the Azure Dragon Galaxy would be able to stop him. It could be considered a very smooth conversation. After it was settled, Black Matriarch spoke. I'll undo the seal here now. There's no hurry. Before that, I still have some things to do. Black Matriarch was about to release Phoenix, but Huang Yi refused. Seeing this, Black Matriarch was a little puzzled, but Huang Yi smiled. Two little fellows came to my Phoenix. I promised them that I would help them break through to the ruler realm. Now that Phoenix has escaped, the treasures that I've accumulated over the years should be given to those two little fellows. Huang Yi wanted to help Xiao Chun and Lin Yun break through to the ruler realm. Hearing this, Black Matriarch did not refuse. After all, if Xiao Chun and Lin Yun could break through to the ruler realm, it would naturally be a good thing for the fiery Phoenix Galaxy. When the time came to face the Azure Dragon Galaxy, the fiery Phoenix Galaxy would also have stronger combat strength. This is a good thing. However, Huang Yi suddenly being so good to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun still made Black Matriarch a little puzzled. After all, with Huang Yi's personality, he shouldn't be a good person, right? Looking at Black Matriarch's appearance, Huang Yi immediately knew what she was thinking and sneered. Don't use yourself to judge others. I'm not you, and I don't have as many choices and trade-offs as you do. I like these two brats, so I help them. It's not as complicated as you think. His words were filled with ridicule, and he did not give Black Matriarch any face at all. Please collect, monthly vote, recommend. Chapter 33:10. Huang Yi didn't give Black Matriarch any face at all. However, after hearing his words, Black Matriarch didn't refute him. Black Matriarch knew that Huang Yi and even the entire Phoenix were resentful of her. All right, you can come again after those two brats break through to the Emperor's stage. Besides, I think you should go to the Foam People now. I don't want to be surrounded by the Foam People as soon as Phoenix is born. Huang Yi knew the nature of the Foam People too well, especially now that the Star-Lord came from the Foam People. It made the Foam People even more arrogant. They always thought that they were the orthodox race of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy and the first race of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. And the Phoenixes definitely didn't want to see Phoenix be born. In their opinion, as a loser, Phoenix should be trapped in this abyss where there was no daylight and eventually dissipate in the long river of history. Therefore, it was indeed hard to say whether the Foam People would listen to Black Matriarch's words. Black Matriarch also understood this and frowned slightly. The Foam People indeed needed to make a trip there? All right, then let's wait until Xiao Chun and Lin Yun break through to the Emperor's stage. Nodding, Black Matriarch turned around and left. She didn't have any intention of staying for long. After sending Black Matriarch, Shi Tian, and Wu Tian away, Huang Yi smiled and shook his head. Then, he also disappeared on the spot. After returning to Phoenix, Huang Yi directly found Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Seeing Huang Yi coming, Xiao Chun smiled bitterly. He thought that Huang Yi was here to ask about their decision, but before Xiao Chun could speak, Huang Yi took the initiative to speak. Black Matriarch just came. You two don't have to worry about it. Phoenix, will be born on my own. And this is what the Star-Lord agreed to. He had no intention of deliberately making things difficult for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun secretly heaved a sigh of relief. That was good. After all, offending the Star-Lord was indeed not something Xiao Chun and Lin Yun wanted to see. Seeing the change in Xiao Chun's expression, Huang Yi said seriously, I can still agree to the previous agreement. I respect Phoenix's abilities and help the two of you break through to become rulers. They did not need to do anything, and Huang, he was even willing to help them break through to become rulers. As soon as he said that, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's first reaction was not joy, but doubt. If it were anyone else, they might be happy and excited, but Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were only puzzled. After all, even a fool knew that the resources needed to break through to become a ruler were astronomical. However, Huang, he was actually willing. Moreover, he did not need Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to do anything. How is this possible? The two of them did not have a mysterious relationship with Huang, let alone anything else. But why was Huang willing to do this? Senior, what do you need? After thinking for a while, Xiao Chun simply asked directly. In any case, he absolutely did not believe that Huang would help the two of them for free. If there was such a possibility, why didn't he use it on his own people in Phoenix? Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huang Yi's expression did not change. He even smiled. What if I say that I don't have any requests and just want to help you? Senior, you must be joking. I'm afraid no one will believe you. Haha, that's right. If it were anyone else, they would have agreed long ago. I didn't misjudge the two of you. To be honest, I don't need you to do anything now. However, if Phoenix is in trouble in the future, I hope that the two of you can help and ensure the safety of Phoenix. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun indeed did not have anything to help Phoenix now. After all, they were still too weak. However, Huang valued their talents very much. Moreover, as long as he pushed Zhulang, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun would definitely break through to become rulers. In this way, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun would naturally have to repay this favor in the future. At the moment, Phoenix only had one ruler, Huang. Although he was very strong, Phoenix was about to be born. The Feng people would definitely not stop easily. Of course, what worried Huang even more was the Star-Lord's thoughts. At the moment, Star-Lord needed him. But what about in the future? Phoenix could no longer withstand the torment. Huang did not want to see the day when Phoenix's clan was wiped out. Therefore, he needed to find some life-saving means for Phoenix. As for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, once they broke through to become rulers, they would be of help to Phoenix that could not be underestimated. To put it bluntly, Huang Yi's actions were more like an investment that was optimistic about Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. After hearing Huang Yi's words, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun understood and did not have much resistance in their hearts. After all, they had been invited, so they naturally had to give something in return. It was understandable that they would protect Phoenix at a critical moment. In addition, Huang did not hide anything from the two of them, nor did he have any intention of coercing them. This made Xiao Chun and Lin Yun have no reason to refuse. The two of us have accepted Phoenix's favor. Naturally, we should repay the kindness of a drop of water with a gushing spring. All right, since that's the case, the two of you can stay in Phoenix for now. I'll start preparing now. In order to let Xiao Chun and Lin Yun break through to become rulers, Huang naturally needed to make some preparations. In this regard, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun both nodded in agreement. Here, Huang Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun reached an agreement. On the other side, Black Granny, who had left the Earth Abyss's evil cave, rushed to the Feng people as soon as possible. However, facing Black Granny, the Feng people did not have much respect. In fact, they were very cold. The reason was naturally because of Black Granny's identity. After all, she was from Phoenix. Even though she had long followed the Star-Lord, in the eyes of the Feng people, they still did not have a good impression of her. It was precisely because of this that when Black Granny came, the two great ancestors of the Feng people did not appear. Even the patriarch of the Feng people did not appear. They only sent an elder. Moreover, this elder was one of the lower-ranked elders among the Feng people. He did not have much real power among the Feng people. It was clear that the Feng people looked down on Black Granny. Faced with the attitude of the Feng people, Black Granny was naturally unhappy. However, she had no choice but to speak to the elder. I want to see Feng Sheng. Feng Sheng was one of the great ancestors of the Feng people. Logically speaking, Feng Shun would have to personally welcome a ruler like Black Granny. After all, the two of them were on the same level. This elder of the Feng people was simply not qualified to speak to Black Granny on an equal footing. However, facing Black Granny, the elder of the Feng people did not care at all. After hearing Black Granny's words, he said indifferently, "The great ancestors are in seclusion. They won't be able to come out for the time being." Seclusion? Even a ghost would not believe that. At this point, no matter how good Black Granny's temper was, no matter how much she wanted to endure, she could not help but be furious. Were the Feng people openly humiliating her? Did they really think that her cultivation as a ruler was just for show? Did they think that they could send her away by casually sending an elder out and saying such bullshit asterisk? Please collect, please vote, please recommend. Chapter 33:11. Black Matriarch snorted coldly with anger burning in her heart. Suddenly, a terrifying aura spread out. The Feng people's elder in front of her was directly sent flying, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Black Matron could endure for the sake of the overall situation, but as an emperor, she couldn't be ridiculed by just anyone. You're not worthy of smacking my lips in front of me." With a cold snort, Black Matron walked directly into the depths of the Feng people. Since the Feng people didn't want to give her face, then they shouldn't blame her. Black Matron hadn't gone far when one of the Feng people's ancestors appeared in front of her and blocked her way. "Black Matron, are you impudent in the Feng people?" "Oh, who is the impudent one?" Everyone knows in their hearts. "I'm only here today to inform you of one thing." Speaking of this, Black Matron didn't give the Feng people's ancestor a chance to reply. The Star Lord has decided to let the Phoenix be born. The Feng people need to hand over the former Phoenix clan's land. This is the Star Lord's order. The Feng people better think carefully. The Feng people didn't give Black Matron any face. Naturally, Black Matron wouldn't give the Feng people any face. As soon as she finished speaking, the Feng people's ancestor's face instantly turned gloomy. What did this mean? How could the Star Lord let the Phoenix be born? That was absolutely impossible. However, Black Matron didn't give him a chance to ask more questions. After she finished speaking, she turned and left. Anyway, she had said what she needed to say. How the Feng people chose was their business. Seeing Black Matron leave, the Feng people's ancestor's eyes became colder and colder, but he didn't explode directly. After all, they were old monsters who had lived for countless years. Not showing their emotions was a skill that they had practiced long ago. It was just that the news of the Phoenix being born was something that the Feng people's ancestor didn't expect. Snorting coldly, he also turned around and left, returning to the forbidden area of the Feng people. The other ancestor of the Feng people, the old woman, asked calmly, "The birth of Phoenix? Is this really an order from the Star Lord?" The old woman naturally heard what Black Matron said before. After a brief moment of anger, she instinctively didn't believe that this was an order from the Star Lord. After all, the Star Lord was a member of the Feng people. Although he had already said that he no longer had any relationship with the Feng people, this was a blood connection. It wasn't something that could be changed with just one sentence. Therefore, in the eyes of the Feng people, no matter what, the Star Lord was a part of the Feng people, and the Feng people had the Star Lord overseeing them. They were the #1 race in the Fire Phoenix galaxy. This was also the source of Feng people's sense of superiority. Hearing the old woman's words, the old man was silent for a moment before asking in confusion, "You're saying that Black Granny gave false orders?" "That's not the case, but is it really that important? As long as we think it's false, then it's false." True or false wasn't important. Once these words came out, it was self-evident what the old woman was thinking. However, the old man who was familiar with her character knew that this old woman clearly wasn't just thinking about this. Stop the birth of Phoenix? Why do we need to stop it? Since the Phoenix wants to be born, we'll give it this opportunity. Now, only Huang Yi is the ruler of the Phoenix. Although he is strong, we Feng people are not without means. We can use this opportunity to get rid of the Feng people in one fell swoop. After all, Even if it has been trapped for so many years, the phoenix is still a big problem. You must know that the spring wind can't burn away all the weeds. Sure enough, this old woman didn't want to stop the birth of phoenix at all. Instead, she wanted to use this opportunity to eliminate the entire phoenix in one fell swoop. Speaking of this, the old woman paused for a moment and then continued. Now that the Star Lord isn't here, only Black Granny is in charge of the central region. As for the people in the palace of the Star Lord, other than Tian Tai, I'm afraid that no one will interfere with the matters between the Feng people and the Phoenix. So this is a good opportunity. Even if we have to use our trump cards, we must eliminate the Phoenix directly. This old woman really had a big appetite. However, the old man didn't refute her words. After all, if there was a chance to eliminate the Phoenix, it would be a good thing for the Feng people. However, the old man still had some worries in his heart. He wasn't afraid of the Phoenix's strength. After all, the Feng people had been here for so many years. They couldn't be as simple as they seemed on the surface. Although the Star Lord had never taken care of the Feng people had still developed a lot over the years. It could be said that they had made up for some of the losses caused by the war back then. However, what if this order was really given by the Star Lord? She wasn't afraid of anything else but the Star Lord. If the Feng people really destroyed the Phoenix so blatantly, the Star Lord would definitely blame them, and it would definitely not be a small matter. Regarding this, the old woman replied confidently, "Didn't I say just now? Is it that important whether it's true or not? The Star Lord isn't in the central region now. Even if it's true, when the time comes, we can just casually frame the Phoenix with a crime. Would the Star Lord make things difficult for us for a group of dead people? No matter what, the Feng people were of the same lineage as the Star Lord. Moreover, who would care about a group of dead people? Would the Star Lord punish the Feng people who were of the same lineage as him for a group of dead people? Moreover, the Fire Phoenix Galaxy needed the strength of the Feng people because every ruler was crucial to deal with the Azure Dragon Galaxy. Hearing this, the old man thought for a moment and nodded slightly. Indeed, in this case, the Star Lord would definitely not punish the Feng people. After hearing what the old woman said, the old man also felt that this was an opportunity. In the past, although the Phoenix had been trapped in the evil abyss by the Star Lord and seemed to be imprisoned, it was actually a kind of protection. Otherwise, how could the Feng people have allowed the Phoenix to exist for so many years without making a move? It was because the Feng people had no chance at all in the evil abyss. Now that the Phoenix was about to be born, this was a great opportunity for the Feng people. As long as they handled it well, they could destroy the Phoenix in one fell swoop. It's just that we can't be careless about this matter. After all, Huang Yi is very strong. It'll probably be difficult for the two of us to gain any advantage. Even if we use our trump cards, we'll need to prepare well and have enough time. Although he and the Phoenix people were mortal enemies, the old man still showed enough respect to Huang Yi. After all, his strength was beyond that of a ruler. Although he had not reached the level of the Star Lord, he was far from being comparable to an ordinary ruler. I've thought of this a long time ago. I've even prepared the grave of the Phoenix people for them. Oh, where is it? Hearing the old woman's words, the old man was immediately interested. If they were really fully prepared, then everything would be easy. Even if it was Huang Yi, they would be able to use some special methods to kill him. The land of the Phoenix people. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:12. The Phoenix Clan's Land. This was the grave that the old woman had chosen for the Phoenix. Although the old man hesitated for a moment, he quickly reacted. That's right, the Phoenix Clan's land was indeed the best choice, and there was enough time to prepare. In addition, with the birth of the Phoenix Clan, they would definitely want more territory that once belonged to their clan. Therefore, even if Huang Yi had guessed something, he still had to go to the Phoenix Clan's land. There was no need to worry about the awkward situation of setting a trap, but not having the prey. It had to be said that the Phoenix Clan's land was indeed chosen perfectly. The old man immediately nodded and said with a smile, "Very good. This way we can have no scruples. Even if Huang Yi knows that this is a trap, he has no choice. Then we can prepare. Yes, sure. The two great ancestors of the Feng people already had a plan in their hearts. Naturally, they would not let the Phoenix clan's land be born just like that. Since it was going to be born, they would directly destroy the entire Phoenix clan and end all troubles. They would completely end the battle between the Phoenix clan and the Feng people. The Feng people had already begun to take action. On the other side, in the Earth Abyss's evil cave, Huang, he had also prepared the things that Shao Chun and Lin Yun needed to break through. Within the forbidden land of the Phoenix clan, there was a cave. The cave contained a rich power of the origin of loss. Moreover, there were two spiritual pools in the cave. These spiritual pools were created by Huang Yi after spending countless resources. After bringing Shao Chun and Lin Yun to the cave, Huang Yi said calmly, "If it were anyone else, I reckon that these things wouldn't be able to help them break through to become a ruler. However, for the two of you, it should be enough. With your current cultivation bases, you're only a step away from becoming a ruler." The current Phoenix was indeed very different from the past. If the Phoenix of the past had really used the power of the entire race, it was estimated that it would have been able to steadily create a ruler. However, the current Phoenix could not do it. This was also why after so many years, Huang Yi was still the only king in Phoenix. Because they had been in the underground abyss all this time, it was difficult for Phoenix and the others to improve their strength. No one was like Shao Chun and Lin Yun, who were only one step away from breaking through to become rulers. Therefore, even if these resources were given to the Phoenix people, it would be useless. They could not break through to become rulers at all. Hearing Huang Yi's words, Shao Chun said, "Thank you, Senior. Regardless of whether I make a breakthrough or not, my promise to you is still valid." Whether he could make a breakthrough or not, Shao Chun had expressed his gratitude to Phoenix. Hearing this, Huang Yi smiled with satisfaction. "Don't worry. As long as the two of you don't make any mistakes, I'll definitely be able to help you break through to become rulers. Because other than these resources, I'll personally stay behind to help the two of you break through." These resources were very important, but the one who could really help Shao Chun and Lin Yun break through was still Huang Yi. What was Huang Yi's cultivation base? He was already one step away from becoming a ruler. If he personally helped Shao Chun and Lin Yun break through to become rulers, this was definitely enough to make countless people envious. In this regard, Shao Chun and Lin Yun cupped their hands and thanked him. Naturally, they would not refuse. Soon, according to Huang Yi's instructions, the two of them sat cross-legged in the spiritual pool. Huang Yi also sat cross-legged behind them with his eyes closed. A faint power of laws spread out around his body. This was Huang Yi's power of laws. He used his power of laws to guide Shao Chun and Lin Yun to break through. This would definitely be of great help to their breakthroughs. The cave quickly quieted down. Shao Chun and Lin Yun also began to try to break through to become rulers. On this side, Shao Chun and Lin Yun had begun their final sprint for becoming rulers. As for the palace of the Star Lord, after Black Matriarch left the Feng people, it was naturally impossible for her to do nothing. In fact, Black Matriarch knew very well that the Feng people would not give up just like that. Therefore, she had always had people keep a close eye on the Feng people. Black Matriarch found out that the Feng people had been making a fuss about the Phoenix clan's territory recently. Because of the Feng people's blockade, she did not know exactly what the Feng people wanted to do. Nevertheless, Black Matriarch only needed to think about it to guess that the Feng people wanted to make a move on Phoenix. These guys really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth at all. Do they take the orders of the Star Lord's palace as wind? So far, she had told the Feng people's ancestor that the birth of the Phoenix was an order of the Star Lord. However, the Feng people still did not choose to give up. They were making a move on the Phoenix clan's territory. Were they trying to destroy the Phoenix clan? Thinking of this, Black Matriarch's eyes unconsciously flashed with a hint of coldness. The Feng people were really too arrogant. However, Black Matriarch could do nothing about the Feng people at the moment. She was the ruler of the Star Lord's palace and had been ordered by the Star Lord to guard the central region and had the right to make her own decisions. However, would the phone people care about this? Black Matriarch had no choice but to contact the Star Lord and tell him the truth. Being in the western region, the Star Lord's mouth, which was hidden behind the hazy divine light, curled up slightly when he received the contact from Black Matriarch, revealing a faint smile. "Sir Star-Lord, what should we do about the phone people? If this continues, once the Phoenix is born, there will be a war between the two clans. In my opinion, it would be better to postpone the birth of the Phoenix." Hearing Black Matriarch's words, the Star-Lord asked with a smile, full of interest, "Black Matriarch, are you from Phoenix?" "Indeed, but from the moment I chose to serve you, Black Matriarch is no longer a Phoenix. Now I only consider the Fire Phoenix Galaxy." In order to stabilize the situation, Black Matriarch even chose to postpone the birth of the Phoenix. The Star-Lord was very satisfied with Black Matriarch's performance. Unlike Elder Master Bai, Black Matriarch really knew what she should do. Unlike Elder Master Bai, who had been secretly colluding with the phone people. There's no need for that. The birth of the Phoenix will continue. But if she did not stop the birth of the Phoenix, there would be a war between the two clans. This was something Black Matriarch absolutely did not want to see. But before she could say anything, the Star-Lord directly interrupted her. "I have to make a decision on this matter. You just have to follow my orders." Since even the Star-Lord said so, Black Matriarch had no choice but to listen to the Star-Lord's orders. After receiving the Star-Lord's orders, Black Matriarch did not pay attention to the phone people anymore. Although she did not know what the Star-Lord meant by doing this, Black Matriarch did not dare to disobey. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, several months passed. In the Abyss's evil cave, inside the Phoenix, two terrifying auras continued to come from the Forbidden Cave for a long time. This was a sign that they were about to break through, and they were about to break through to the Emperor realm. Needless to say, the owners of these two auras were naturally Xiao, Chun, and Linyan. After several months, the two of them finally reached the critical point of breaking through. They could really take the last step at any time. Please collect, please vote, please recommend. Chapter 33:13. This time, the closed-door cultivation went very smoothly. The main reason was naturally because Huang Yi had spared no effort to help them. Ever since the closed-door cultivation began, Huang Yi had never left Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's side. He used his own strength to guide Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to break through. They had already reached the limit of the Warlord Ancestor Realm. With the help of Huang Yi, who was half a step away from transcending the Ruler Realm, breaking through was almost a matter of course. Another 3 days passed. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's auras suddenly shook. They had both crossed the Warlord Ancestor Realm in one fell swoop and broke through to become rulers. They had finally broken through to become rulers. The power in their bodies soared crazily, and their auras were also raised to the extreme. Sensing that they had successfully broken through, Huang Yi slowly opened his eyes. A hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. They had just broken through to become rulers, but judging from their auras, they were so powerful. It did not seem like they had just broken through. In fact, from Huang Yi's point of view, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's strength was probably enough to contend with some veteran rulers. They might even be stronger than them. They were really two freaks. The reason for this was firstly because their foundations were very deep and vigorous. Secondly, it had something to do with their talents. Nonetheless, the stronger Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were, the better it would be for Phoenix. Huang Yi was also more satisfied. After a few days, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun had completely consolidated their cultivation bases. Nevertheless, at this moment, the sky above Phoenix had long been enveloped by dark clouds. This was a sign of the arrival of the heavenly punishment. After Xiao Chun and Lin Yun left their cultivation, Huang Yi immediately scolded them with a smile. "Go quickly. Phoenix can't withstand the heavenly punishment of a ruler. If this heavenly punishment were to descend in Phoenix, it would definitely be a disaster." Therefore, Huang Yi directly asked Xiao Chun and Xiao Chun to stay away. In response, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun smiled and nodded. They immediately left where Phoenix was and found a place where no one was around. They began to deal with heavenly punishment, which was a ruler. With the strength displayed by Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, Huang Yi was not worried about their safety at all. The two of them had such strength as soon as they broke through. It was child's play for them to pass through heaven's punishment. Walking out of the cave again, Huang Yi had also consumed a lot of energy to help Xiao Chun break through. However, before Huang Yi could breathe a sigh of relief, a few Phoenix elders arrived, and one of them spoke. "Ancestor, that black woman is here again." Hearing this, Huang Yi nodded and quickly arrived at the main hall. As expected, he saw the black woman here. No one would greet her. After all, not many people in Phoenix liked the black woman. The black woman had long been used to this. When she saw Huang Yi, she directly expressed her purpose for coming. "Those two brats have broken through. Yes, that's about time. It's time for Phoenix to be born." The black woman naturally came here because of the birth of Phoenix. This time, Huang Yi did not refuse and only said with a faint smile, "Have you discussed it with the phone people? They won't be that obedient, right?" It was as if she had long guessed what the black woman would encounter in the phone people. Hearing this, the black woman's expression did not change, and she still spoke calmly. "Be careful of the phone people, especially in the Phoenix clan's territory." The phone people would not listen to her, and since the Star Lord had already given the order, the black woman only needed to act according to the order. However, the black woman still reminded Huang Yi. In this regard, Huang Yi laughed. "You don't have to say it. I can guess it. How can the phone people be so obedient? Don't underestimate the phone people." Although the phone people also suffered a lot in the battle back then, after so many years, the phone people have also recovered a little. It's definitely not as simple as it seems on the surface. The royal family was trapped in the Abyss Evil Cave. In terms of foundation, they definitely did not have, but the phone people were different. However, did Huang Yi not have a backup plan? Obviously not. From the first time the black woman came, Huang Yi had already thought about everything and knew that this would be the situation. Seeing that Huang Yi did not have any intention to talk to her, the black woman said to herself, "It will take at least half a month to unlock the seal. You should prepare well." After saying that, without waiting for Huang Yi to reply, the black woman left. The black woman went to touch the seal. 3 days later, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun successfully passed the heavenly tribulation and returned to Phoenix. The two of them immediately went to see Huang Yi. Of course, they also saw Huang Lin. Looking at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, who were safe and sound, Huang Yi said with a smile, "Not bad. Your foundation and talent have exceeded my expectations. It's indeed rare to have such combat strength as soon as you break through to the ruler realm. Senior, you're exaggerating. What do we need to do next?" Xiao Chun did not show much excitement at Huang Yi's words. Instead, he replied very calmly, "Oh, how did you know?" They had just broken through, but Xiao Chun had already guessed that Huang Yi needed the two of them to make a move. This was interesting. In fact, this was not difficult to guess. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun had long known that Phoenix was about to be born. Based on their current understanding, how could the phone people let Phoenix be born so easily? At the moment, Huang Yi was the only ruler in Phoenix. Even with Tian Tai, there were only two of them. Moreover, it was not certain whether Tian Tai could make a move or not. Therefore, no matter how strong Huang Yi was, it would be difficult for him to contend against the phone people. Therefore, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were very important. This was also why Huang Yi had to wait until Xiao Chun and Lin Yun broke through to the ruler realm before he chose to be born. He had thought of this from the beginning. In this regard, Xiao Chun did not resist. He had taken benefits from Huang Yi and given his favor, so he naturally had to return the favor. "I won't hide it from you. I do need you to make a move." Huang Yi straightforwardly admitted it and continued, "If I'm not wrong, the phone people have already set up a trap in the Phoenix clan's territory. They're just waiting for the Phoenix to take the bait." However, I have no choice. That's the Phoenix clan's territory. Even if I know that the Feng people have set a trap, I still have to go. Although I'm not afraid of the Feng people's great ancestors, it's difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. I need the two of you to at least help me stop the two rulers of the Feng people. Don't the Feng people only have two great ancestors? Xiao Chun asked in confusion. It was not that he was afraid of the Feng people's great ancestors, but he was a little puzzled. In response, Huang Yi smiled and shook his head. Two great ancestors? You're still underestimating the Feng people. After so many years of development, how can the Feng people only have two rulers? Moreover, the strength of any force on the surface can never be trusted. After all, who doesn't have a trump card? This is often the most crucial strength. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:14. The Phoenixes only have two great ancestors who are rulers? This was obviously impossible. Only a fool would believe it. Putting everything else aside, based on what Huang Yi knew, the Feng people had at least two rulers hidden. However, these two rulers had suffered serious injuries in the great battle back then. It was almost impossible to heal them. Therefore, they must have used some kind of method to seal themselves to prevent their lives from flowing away. They were a great foundation of the Feng people. Based on Huang Yi's understanding of the Feng people, if they could destroy Phoenix, the Feng people would not hesitate to use such a trump card. After all, Phoenix was the greatest threat to the Feng people. As long as Phoenix was dealt with, the Feng people could be said to have gotten rid of a great threat. Hearing Huang Yi's words, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun both nodded in agreement. In any case, the two of them only needed to make a move. As for how they would do it, it was still up to Huang Yi. All right, you guys have a good rest. Once Phoenix is born, it won't be so easy. Okay, the seal had not been opened yet. It would take half a month. Just as Black Granny was breaking the seal, in the Phoenix clan's territory, the Feng people had already made preparations. Just the formations alone were carved with hundreds of them, and their grades were all low. In order to carve these formations, the Feng people had taken out a lot of resources. Even the Emperor Dong's palace would find it difficult to take out these resources. The formations are almost completed, but the most important one, the evil moon towering sky formation, still needs some time. Yes. At this moment, the two great ancestors of the Feng people were personally supervising the carving of the formation. The old woman spoke with an indifferent expression. The evil moon towering sky formation was specially prepared for Huang Yi. It could be said to be one of the highest level formations in the Fire Phoenix galaxy. To carve this formation, at least 10 formation masters at the War Ancestor realm would be needed at the same time. For this, the Feng people naturally paid a huge price and invited more than 10 formation masters. However, even so, the carving of the evil moon towering sky formation was still very complicated and had not been completed yet. However, the evil moon towering heaven grand formation was indispensable. After all, it was a spirit formation used to deal with Huang Yi. It could trap Huang Yi for at least an hour, which was enough for the Feng people to do a lot of things. Hearing the old woman's words, the old man at the side said without too much worry. According to the news, Granny Black only entered the underground abyss yesterday, and it will take her at least half a month to break the seal of the underground abyss. There is still time. If the Star-Lord were to intervene, he would probably be able to break the seal on the Abyss Evil Cavern in no time. But if Black Matron were to make a move, it would take time. Even if she knew how to break the seal, she had to do it step by step. This gave the Feng people enough time. They didn't have to worry about not having enough time to complete the Evil Moon Soaring Heaven array. The old woman didn't say anything about this. There is also the Forbidden Area. If we awaken them, we might not be able to seal it this time. The old woman was talking about the other ancestors of the Feng people. These ancestors were all seriously injured in the battle back then, so they had no choice but to seal themselves. However, every time they were awakened, it would consume a lot of their vitality. Once their vitality was depleted, in addition to their previous injuries, it was very likely that they would die. The old man didn't say anything about this. In order to successfully destroy Phoenix, this was necessary. With just the two of them, even with the evil moon soaring heaven array, they didn't dare to say that they could deal with Huang Yi. Therefore, some price had to be paid. Okay, we have prepared everything. Now we just need to wait for the fish to take the bait. They had prepared everything that could be done. Next, they just needed to wait for Phoenix to come out. The Feng people were already fully prepared. They planned to have a final end with Phoenix. Wasn't Huang Yi the same? Huang Yi had also prepared for the upcoming battle with the Feng people. The hatred between the two clans for so many years seemed to be completely resolved this time. Time passed day by day. The Feng people were very calm during this period. Even the people outside the evil abyss had withdrawn. This was because there was no need to let people guard it anymore. Anyway, once Phoenix came out, she would definitely return to the clan's land. The Feng people only needed to wait in the Phoenix clan's land. They didn't need to do anything else. Concentrate their strength and wait for the rabbit to come out. This was the strategy of the Feng people. Half a month passed in a flash. On this day, waves of fluctuations suddenly came from the entrance of the evil abyss. This was a sign that the seal was about to be broken. In half a month, Black Matron had indeed successfully broken the seal of the evil abyss. Waves of fluctuations came out. Then, an inexplicable force instantly erupted and quickly dissipated. This was the power of the Star-Lord, the power used to trap the Feng people. Now, it had completely disappeared. Without the existence of this power, the evil abyss instantly became an ordinary small world. The Phoenix could also enter and leave the evil abyss freely. Soon, the group of royal family members came to the outside world through the entrance. For the younger generation, like Huang Lin, this was the first time they had left the evil abyss. Therefore, they were all very excited. They had been curious about the outside world for a long time. At this moment, they saw the starry sky outside the central region. They were all very excited. Xiao Chun, Lin Yun, is this the Fire Phoenix Galaxy? It is really different from the evil abyss. There is no starry sky in the evil abyss. Since he was young, this was the first time Huang Lin had seen the starry sky. How could he not be excited? In this regard, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun only smiled and nodded. They did not say anything. They had succeeded in escaping. However, if the Phoenix wanted to gain a foothold in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy, it was only the beginning. Moreover, it was far from as easy as they had imagined. Looking at the situation, there was actually no Feng people. Could it be that the Feng people had tacitly agreed to the birth of the Phoenix? This was absolutely impossible. Xiao Chun, Lin Yun, and Huang Yi all knew that the reason why the Feng people did not appear at the entrance of the evil abyss was because they had concentrated their forces in the Phoenix clan. They were only waiting for the Phoenix people to take the initiative to come. At that time, the war between the two clans would erupt. Whether the Phoenix could successfully gain a foothold in the Fire Phoenix Galaxy and the central region would depend on this war. As they spoke, Huang Yi also left the evil abyss. A group of Phoenix clan elders followed behind him. Looking at the empty starry sky, Huang Yi sneered. They are still the same as before. They only know how to use some despicable methods. Huang Yi was naturally talking about the Feng people. They did not dare to fight head-on. They only knew how to use some tricks to lure him into the trap. This made Huang Yi look down on the Feng people's actions. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:15. They knew what the Feng people wanted to do, but the Phoenix had no choice. Even if they knew that the Feng people had an ambush in the Phoenix clan land, the Phoenix still had to go. After all, it was impossible for them to give up their own clan land. Everyone knew this very well. Standing next to Huang Yi, Black Matriarch said hesitantly, "Actually, you can temporarily hide from the wind. Just wait for the Star Lord to come back." Black Matriarch didn't want to see Phoenix and Feng people go to war. Moreover, as long as they waited for the Star Lord to come back, with the Star Lord there, the Feng people wouldn't dare to act without permission. However, after hearing Black Matriarch's words, Huang Yi sneered. "Star Lord, you're still thinking too simply." Huang Yi directly rejected Black Matriarch's proposal, and then turned to look at a Phoenix clan elder next to him. You take people to the White Rock continent to find Tiantai. Yes, yes. Old ancestor. Hearing this, the clan elder was a little puzzled. Shouldn't they go back to the clan first? Why go to the White Rock continent? Some didn't understand Huang Yi's thoughts, but Huang Yi didn't give the clan elder a chance to refuse. He waved his hand and directly interrupted Huang Yi. Just do it. There's no need to say anything else. Since Huang Yi had spoken, even if he didn't understand, the clan elder still closed his mouth. Soon, under the leadership of several clan elders, the Phoenix group also headed in the direction of the White Rock continent. Xiao Chun gave his spatial spirit boat to them. After all, it was more convenient to travel with the spatial spirit boat. As the Phoenix group left, only Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, Lin Yun, and Black Matriarch were still here. They also looked at Huang Yi with a puzzled expression. Black Matriarch was puzzled. What do you want to do? Facing Black Matriarch's question, Huang Yi smiled slightly. Ask your Star Lord. She knows. Huang Yi didn't answer Black Matron's question. Without waiting for Black Matron's reply, she left with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun followed Huang Yi and left with Black Matriarch, leaving Black Matriarch standing there in a daze. What was Huang Yi trying to do? Also, does the Star Lord know about this? What did he mean? After thinking about it, Black Matriarch finally contacted Star Lord, who was in the western region. My lord, Phoenix has already left the Abyss Evil Cave. However, Huang Yi ordered all of his clansmen to go to the White Rock continent to look for Tiantai, while he himself left with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. She told the Star Lord the truth. After listening to Black Matron, the Star Lord wasn't as angry or unhappy as she had imagined. There was even a light chuckle. This guy is still not easy to deal with. Well, you don't have to worry about the rest. Just treat it as compensation for what happened back then. Compensation for what happened back then. Hearing Star-Lord's words, Black Matriarch became more and more confused. What were the Star-Lord and Huang Yi thinking? And what happened back then? Was it the war between Phoenix and the Foam People? Or was it the matter of Phoenix being trapped in the Abyss Evil Cave? But how does the Star-Lord want to compensate? She couldn't understand. Unfortunately, the Star-Lord obviously didn't mean to answer Black Matriarch's question. As soon as his voice fell, he ended the call. In the Western region, in the Western Royal Palace, the Star-Lord sat cross-legged in the palace and looked at the stars outside the palace. There was an interested smile on his face, which was hidden behind the hazy, spiritual power. Huang Yi was still the same Huang Yi. He knew what he was thinking. Since that was the case, he would let the Phoenix people go this time. The Star-Lord didn't care about Huang Yi's actions. On the other side, he left with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Xiao Chun asked curiously, Senior, where are we going now? The Phoenix clan's land. 3 people dared to go to the Phoenix clan's land. Hearing this, even Xiao Chun and Lin Yun didn't expect it. The Phoenix clan's land was now a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. The Foam people definitely emptied their family's resources and set up an inescapable net in the Phoenix clan's land. 3 people going? Isn't it a bit too much? Seeing the worry in Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's hearts, Huang Yi said with a chuckle, It's still the same as what we agreed on before. The 2 of you only need to stop the 2 emperors of Phoenix. Leave the rest to me. The 3 of them went forward. Huang Yi still didn't increase the burden on Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's lives. As long as they could each stop 1 emperor of the Foam people, it would be fine. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun naturally wouldn't say anything about this. However, the 2 of them still didn't understand what Huang Yi was thinking. Could it be that the 3 of them planned to fight against the entire Foam people? Wasn't this a little too arrogant? Only Huang Yi didn't seem nervous at all. He even reminded the 2 of them. By the way, the 2 of you still have to think of a way to kill the patriarch of the Foam people. After all, I heard from Tiantai that you have made a heavenly oath. If you don't fulfill it, it will be very difficult in the future. The heavenly oath couldn't be violated, so Huang Yi reminded them. In response, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun both nodded. While the 3 of them were rushing to the Phoenix clan's territory, a group of Foam people was already prepared in the Phoenix clan's territory. This time, the Feng people had indeed come out in full force. Moreover, all the people who came here were the elite powerhouses of the Feng people. The weakest person's cultivation was at least at the divine ancestor realm. Although there weren't many people, only a few hundred of them, their cultivation wasn't weak at all. The two great ancestors of the Feng people also knew that in such a battle, those with insufficient cultivation were almost useless. Other than being cannon fodder, they were meaningless. Therefore, instead of having so many people, it was better to bring out all the elites. This way, it would be easier for them to perform. At this time, a group of Feng people's powerhouses were hiding in various places of the Phoenix clan's territory. Among them, the two great ancestors were on a small mountain peak. From there, they could see the entire Phoenix clan's territory. As a former big clan, the Phoenix clan's territory was a large star island. They should be here soon, right? No hurry. There's no news yet, but they will definitely come. The two great ancestors said confidently. They weren't worried that the Phoenix wouldn't come at all. At the same time, there were two old figures sitting cross-legged behind the two great ancestors. These two were also the great ancestors of the Feng people. However, they were seriously injured and in a state of dying. Usually, the two of them were in a deep sleep and didn't know what was happening in the outside world. They were like living dead. This time, in order to eliminate the Phoenix without any accidents, the Feng people also invited them out. Although the two great ancestors hadn't been woken up yet, they could be woken up in an instant as long as there was a need. Of course, given their current states, they could unleash the combat power of a ruler after being woken up. However, after the battle, they would probably be exhausted. This also meant that the Feng people would lose a big trump card. Even so, if they could really eliminate the Phoenix clan, everything would be worth it. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:16. In order to subdue Phoenix, the Feng people had put in a lot of effort this time. However, they definitely didn't expect that Phoenix didn't come at all. Only Huang Yi brought Xiao Chun and Lin Yun to the Phoenix clan's land. As for the other Phoenixes, they had already gone to the White Rock continent. There had been no news of Phoenix for a long time, and the Feng people gradually began to become a little impatient. In one place, the Feng people's patriarch and several elders gathered. One of them looked at the patriarch worriedly. Patriarch, it's been 3 days, and there's still no news from Phoenix. Could it be that Phoenix has given up? Impossible. This is the Phoenix clan's land. Even if they know that we have set up an ambush here, they will definitely come. Compared to the others' worries, the Feng people's patriarch was still somewhat calm. He knew that Phoenix would definitely come. They would never give up their clan's land. This was an open conspiracy. Even if Phoenix knew about it, there was no way to resolve it, except for a battle. Therefore, the Feng people's patriarch wasn't worried at all. It was just a matter of time. Hearing the patriarch's words, the elders didn't say anything more. Since the patriarch said so, they had nothing to say. The group of Feng people's experts continued to wait. Another 2 days passed. It was already the 5th day since Phoenix was born. Just when everyone thought that Phoenix wouldn't appear today, suddenly, 3 figures appeared in the sky above the Phoenix clan's land. The 3 of them were none other than Xiao Chun, Lin Yun, and Huang Yi. There was no news from the front at all. However, thinking about it, how could the ordinary Feng people detect the whereabouts of Xiao Chun and the other 2? If all the people from Phoenix came, the Feng people would definitely know in advance. However, if Huang Yi and the other 2 came, it would be very difficult for the Feng people to find out their whereabouts. The 2 ancestors of the Feng people, who were still sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak, looked at the 3 people in the sky at this moment. Both of them suddenly stood up and said in surprise, Huang Yi. They were naturally not unfamiliar with Huang Yi. Even if this fellow turned into ashes, the 2 of them would still be able to recognize him. Without thinking too much, the old woman immediately shouted, Quick, activate the evil moon towering heaven formation. Without any preparation, Huang Yi and the other 2 appeared here. The old woman did not hesitate to activate the evil moon ascension great formation. As the old woman's voice fell, a huge black light shield suddenly rose from the ground. The Evil Moon Ascension Great Formation was directly activated and instantly enveloped Huang, Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun. Seeing that the Evil Moon Ascension Great Formation did not have any accidents and successfully trapped Huang, Yi, and the other two, the old woman heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there were no accidents at the beginning. At the same time, the experts of the Feng people who were hiding in the surroundings also appeared one after another and instantly surrounded Xiao Chun and the other two. They glanced at them coldly through the formation. The old woman and the old man were the last to appear. When they arrived in front of Huang Yi, they found that Huang Yi's face did not change at all despite being enveloped by the Evil Moon Ascension Great Formation. For a moment, the two of them unconsciously frowned slightly. Things were a little strange. Why were there only Huang Yi and the other two? Where were the other Phoenix people? Where did they go? Huang Yi, what do you mean by this? The old man looked at Huang Yi coldly and asked. In response, Huang Yi sneered. As you can see, do you mean that the three of you alone dare to contend with the Feng people? As he spoke, the old man looked at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun at the side. Naturally, he recognized them at a glance. Moreover, he could see that the two of them had broken through to become rulers. But so what? Even if they were three rulers, the Feng people were fully prepared and had used all their trump cards. They were still confident that they could kill the three of them. However, what the old man could not figure out was, did Huang Yi and the others really dare to contend with the entire Feng people with just the three of them? Where were the other Phoenix people? Could it be that they were hiding somewhere else? For a moment, the old man's thoughts ran wild. In his opinion, the other Phoenix powerhouses should be hiding somewhere else and waiting for an opportunity to make a move. As for Huang Yi and the other two, they came out to act as bait to attract the attention of the Feng people and create opportunities for the other Phoenix powerhouses. This was the only explanation. While the old man was letting his imagination run wild, Huang Yi said with a smile, "There's no need to think anymore. It's true that only the three of us came here." Hearing this, the old man looked at Huang Yi suspiciously. Just now, he had scanned the surroundings with his spiritual sense and found that there was indeed no one else. Could it be that only Huang Yi and the other two came here? But how dare they? They're definitely courting death. Ignoring the old man, Huang Yi said to himself, "Tisk, TSK, TSK. The Feng people are really willing to spend this time. They even set up the Evil Moon Towering Heaven formation. You must have spent a lot of effort on this formation, right? Even with the Feng people's ability, I'm afraid that you've used up all your savings to achieve this. Let me see. There are really a lot of formations. TSK, TSK." In the face of the Feng people's formation, Huang Yi mocked and ridiculed. In response, the old man snorted coldly. "Enough, Huang Yi. How dare you come here with just the three of you? Aren't you a little too arrogant?" It was almost certain that only Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun were present. In response, Huang Yi said with a smile, "The three of us are enough. At least we can deal with the Feng people." Arrogant, simply arrogant to the extreme. The Feng people had made so many preparations in order to destroy the entire Phoenix in one fell swoop. But Huang Yi said that the three of them were enough to deal with the entire Feng people. His arrogance had not changed at all. The old woman at the side shouted coldly, "You're courting death. The three of them dare to come here." They were indeed courting death. Huang Yi was getting bolder and bolder. Moreover, in the eyes of the Feng people, Huang Yi was humiliating the Feng people and was unforgivable. Many Feng people's martial artists were furious. Huang Yi glanced at the old man and old O, and then looked at the mountain peak where the two of them were previously. There were still two old figures sitting cross-legged there, but they didn't seem to be alive at all. They haven't been awakened yet? He sneered in his heart. It seemed that the Feng people were reluctant to use this trump card. Although they had brought the two of them here, they didn't choose to awaken them directly. It seemed that the Feng people intended to observe the situation first. If the situation was manageable, They wouldn't need to use this trump card. If the situation wasn't good, they would choose to awaken the two of them. It was a good plan, but for Huang Yi, this was good news because the phone people didn't awaken the two of them at the beginning, which meant that they wouldn't have the chance to do so again. Huang Yi wouldn't give him the chance to use this trump card again. Begging for collection, begging for monthly votes, begging for recommendations. End of this chapter. Chapter 33:17. The arrival of Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun filled the hearts of the Feng people with murderous intent. In the eyes of many Feng people, Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun were simply too arrogant. They dared to barge into the inescapable traps set up by the Feng people with just the three of them. It should be known that the Feng people spared no effort in order to successfully destroy the Phoenix people this time. Even so, Huang Yi and the others still dare to look down on them. They did not put the Feng people in their eyes at all. Moreover, Huang Yi and the others were trapped by the evil moon towering sky formation. No matter how strong Huang Yi was, he would not be able to escape in a short period of time. It could be said that in the eyes of the Feng people, Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun were already fat meat on the chopping board. They could not escape at all and had no chance at all. Looking at Huang Yi, who was still calm, the old woman of the Feng people snorted coldly. You're still pretending when you are about to die. Huang Yi, you won't be able to escape today. Oh, is that so? Is it because of the evil moon towering sky formation that you are so confident? Hearing that, Huang Yi laughed lightly. He knew clearly that without the evil moon towering sky formation, Huang Yi would not be afraid even if the two ancestors of the Feng people attacked. The Feng people's confidence came from the formations around them, especially the evil moon towering sky formation. The old woman did not refute this. Indeed, in terms of strength, they were no match for Huang Yi. But now the Feng people had all the advantages. They had prepared for several months. If they still could not take down Huang Yi this time, then there would be no justice in this world. His eyes were full of killing intent. At the same time, he had absolute confidence, as if he was sure that Huang Yi couldn't escape at all. In response, Huang Yi shook her head with a smile. Some people were just stupid. Even after being sold, they still helped others count the money. Are you all so confident that this evil moon towering heaven formation can trap me? Haha, Huang Yi, don't boast so shamelessly. The evil moon ascends to the heavens formation can even trap sovereigns. Although you're half a step away from sovereigns, you won't be able to break this formation in a short time. In the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy, only, hearing Huang Yi's words, the old woman sneered. She had absolute confidence in the evil moon sky formation. However, before she could finish her sentence, Huang Yi took out a colorful crystal from her space ring. The moment she saw the crystal, the old woman's voice stopped abruptly, and the expression on her face changed drastically. It wasn't just the old woman. Even the old man beside her was the same. The two of them stared at the crystal in Huang Yi's hand without blinking. They recognized this crystal. It was called the Formation Spirit Essence. It could break all formations. It was an extremely terrifying treasure. However, this treasure had always been in the hands of the Star-Lord. When did it fall into Huang Yi's hands? With the Formation Spirit Essence, the evil moon towering heaven formation obviously couldn't trap Huang Yi. Moreover, all the other formations were ineffective. This also meant that more than half of the Feng people's months of preparation would go down the drain. How is this possible? How could the Formation Spirit Essence be in your hands? Old O shouted in disbelief. In response, Huang Yi smiled slightly. This Formation Spirit Essence is mine. Is it strange that it's in my hands? The Formation Spirit Essence was indeed Huang Yi's treasure. However, that was in the past. During the battle back then, Phoenix was utterly defeated by the Star-Lord. Huang Yi was naturally no match for the Star-Lord. The Formation Spirit Essence was also snatched away by the Star-Lord. The Formation Spirit Essence was indeed useful. All these years, it had saved the Star-Lord a lot of effort. No, impossible. How could it have fallen into your hands? The old woman didn't pay attention to Huang Yi's words at all. Her mind was now filled with thoughts of how the formation spirit essence had fallen into Huang Yi's hands. Could it be that Huang Yi stole it from the Star Lord? But how was that possible? Not to mention that Huang Yi and the entire Phoenix were trapped in the abyss and couldn't leave at all. Even if Huang Yi had a way to leave, how could he have the ability to steal from the Star Lord? Who was the Star Lord? He was the strongest person in the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy. Not to mention stealing. Even the things that happened in the Fire Phoenix galaxy were clearly known to the Star Lord. But since it wasn't stolen, then why did the formation spirit essence appear in Huang Yi's hands? With their eyesight, they could naturally see that the formation spirit essence was real. There was no trace of fraud at all. Looking at the two who were in a daze for an instant, Huang Yi smiled unhurriedly. That's why I said that there are such fools in this world. They're still counting the money for others after being sold. What do you mean by that? Hearing that, the old man and the old woman asked with a complicated expression. They seemed to have guessed something in their hearts. Seeing this, Huang Yi smiled and randomly activated the formation spirit essence in his hand. As a five-colored light lit up, the evil moon towering sky formation that enveloped the three of them began to collapse at a speed visible to the naked eye. There was no resistance at all. The evil moon towering sky formation that consumed countless resources and painstaking efforts quickly collapsed completely. Without the obstruction of the formation, the old man and the old woman's expressions became more and more unsightly. Aren't you very puzzled as to why this formation spirit essence appeared in my hands? It's just as you think. It's impossible to steal it from that person. So, there's only one explanation left. With a faint smile on his face, the old woman couldn't help but roar when she heard this. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Other than stealing, there was only one possibility, and that was that the Star Lord took the initiative to give the formation spirit essence to Huang Yi. But how is that possible? How could the Star Lord give the formation spirit essence to Huang Yi? Why would he do this? They couldn't believe it. But looking at the crystal in Huang Yi's hand that was emitting a five-colored light, the old woman and the old man couldn't help but believe it. Otherwise, how could they explain why this formation spirit essence appeared in Huang Yi's hands? Even Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were stunned. They didn't expect things to develop to this point. Moreover, Huang Yi was secretly in contact with the Star Lord. Shouldn't the two of them be enemies? Why would the Star Lord do this? Didn't he know that giving the formation spirit essence to Huang Yi would bring disaster to the Feng people? Change of plan. I'll stop these two old guys. You guys are responsible for dealing with the others. Kill everyone except the king. Without any intention of explaining further, Huang Yi said lightly to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Hearing this, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun looked at each other and seemed to understand something for a moment. Could this be the Star Lord's idea? Or was there another plan behind the scenes? But didn't the Star Lord come from the Feng people? Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:18. They did not know what had happened between Star Lord and Huang Yi, but the situation was obvious. With the formation spirit in hand, all of the Feng people's formations were useless. Without the help of formations, the Feng people present could not stop Xiao Chun and the other two at all. Moreover, Huang Yi was in charge of restraining the two great ancestors of the Feng people, while Xiao Chun and the other two were only in charge of killing. Huang Yi himself had said that everyone could be killed except for rulers. Hearing this, the expressions of the two great ancestors of the Feng people changed drastically. The old man did not dare to hesitate and immediately prepared to wake up the other two great ancestors of the Feng people. Although waking up the two of them at this time would completely consume one of the Feng people's trump cards, they could not care so much at this time. If they did not wake up the two of them, the old man and the old woman would not be able to stop Huang Yi at all. At that time, all of the Feng people present would suffer a disaster. Before this, who would have thought that the person who caused all of this would be the Star Lord? The Star Lord of the Feng people? If the Feng people had not given the formation spirit to Huang Yi, How could the Feng people have fallen to such a state? Unfortunately, seeing that the old man was about to move, Huang Yi flashed in front of him and interrupted his actions. If you don't wake up those two immediately, you won't have a chance. Without the barrier of the formation, it was simply wishful thinking to wake up the two great ancestors of the Feng people in front of Huang Yi. Seeing Huang Yi's actions, the old man's heart sank. What should I do now? At the same time, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun looked at each other and chose to make a move. The two of them had broken through to rulers, so it was too easy for them to face the kings of the warlord ancestors and the holy ancestors of the Feng people. The seven elders of the Big Dipper were no longer a threat to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Of course, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's target was the head of the Feng people. There was nothing they could do about it. After all, the two of them had sworn an oath to the heavens. They had to kill the chief of the Feng people in order to solve this problem. Seeing Xiao Chun and Huang Xiaolong make a move, the Feng people did not choose to wait for death. Instead, they rose up to resist. Unfortunately, because their own ancestor was held back by Huang Yi, the Feng people's resistance was completely useless. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were like tigers in a flock of sheep. In an instant, they killed all the Feng people. Looking at Xiao Chun, who were overturning the crowd, the old man and the old woman were also extremely anxious. Just as the two of them were about to make a move, they were stopped by Huang Yi. I told you, it's better for the two of you not to get involved in this matter. Huang Yi, you're courting death. In response, the old woman shouted angrily and immediately started fighting with Huang Yi. Seeing this, the old man naturally went forward to help. The three of them were engaged in a fierce battle. However, facing the joint attacks of the old man and the old woman, Huang Yi seemed to be very relaxed. Huang Yi was fighting against two people with ease, but the old man and the old woman could not break through Huang Yi's blockade, no matter what. In fact, if it were not for the agreement with the Star Lord that rulers could not be killed, Huang Yi would have killed the two of them long ago. However, although Huang Yi did not kill them, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were completely different. In any case, anyone below the ruler level could be killed, so Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were completely unscrupulous. As for the two rulers who were unstoppable, in addition to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, although they had just broken through to become rulers, their combat strengths were far from what ordinary rulers could compare to. For a moment, the Feng people were unable to deal with the attacks of Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. Seeing their clansmen die at the hands of Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, the old man and the old woman's expressions became more and more unsightly. These were the true powerhouses of the Feng people. This time, in order to exterminate Phoenix, the two of them had brought the true powerhouses of the Feng people. If all of them died, the entire Feng people would probably be finished. The two of them became more and more anxious. They wanted to save him, but no matter how hard they tried, Huang Yi would not let them go. He did not give them any chance to intervene. The battle lasted for about 15 minutes. Then, with a blood-curdling scream, the clan leader of the Feng people was killed by Xiao Chun with a single slash. Since the clan leader was dead, one could imagine the feelings of the other Feng people. Oldo could not help but shout angrily, "Damn it, why? Why did you do this? Aren't you one of the Feng people?" The old woman was obviously talking about the Star Lord. She could not understand why the Star Lord would do this. Why did he give the formation spirit essence to Huang Yi? Why did he have to put the Feng people in such a situation? The Star Lord was also one of the Feng people. She grew up among the Feng people, but now, why did he have to personally push the Feng people into the abyss? Seeing more and more phoenixes being killed, the old man and the old woman's hearts turned cold. Even though this battle had only been going on until now, since the start of the battle, the Feng people had already suffered heavy losses. On the other hand, Phoenix was not injured at all. This was because the other people in Phoenix did not show up at all. Only Huang Yi, Xiao Chun, and Lin Yun appeared. They had originally planned to destroy Phoenix, but who would have thought that the Feng people would suffer a great loss in the end? Moreover, the battle was still going on. More and more Feng people died at the hands of Xiao Chun and the old man. Just when the Foam people were about to fall into despair, Elder Master Bai, who was in the western region, directly found the Star Lord and spoke with a complicated expression. Sir, what do you mean by this? Elder Master Bai obviously knew about the Foam people. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying aura swept over and directly pressed him to the ground. Are you questioning me? An indifferent figure came out of the Star Lord's mouth. Hearing this, Elder Master Bai broke out in a cold sweat, but he still gritted his teeth and persisted. Sir, you're also a member of the Foam people. Why? Elder Master Bai completely did not understand why the Star Lord would do this. Why would he give the erased spirit essence to Huang Yi? Why would he force the Foam people to this extent? Looking at the current situation of the Foam people, if this continued, the entire high-level combat power of the Foam people would probably be killed by Xiao Chun and Lin Yan. In the face of Elder Master Bai's questioning, the Star Lord only said one sentence calmly. I am a Star Lord of the Fire Phoenix Galaxy. I am only responsible for the entire Fire Phoenix Galaxy, not the Foam people. As he spoke, the Star Lord waved his hand casually, and Elder Master Bai was directly sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. This will be the last time. Elder Master Bai's attitude just now was very disrespectful, but the Star Lord still spared him this time. However, even so, Elder Master Bai was still stubborn and did not leave. He wanted to know the reason. Why would the Star Lord do this? Why would he help Huang Yi to deal with the Foam people? Even if the Star Lord did not care about anything, Elder Master Bai could explain it. However, why would the Star Lord help Huang Yi to deal with the Foam people? Elder Master Bai could not understand this no matter how hard he thought about it. And today, he wanted an answer. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:19. Seeing that Elder Master Bai stubbornly refused to leave, the Star Lord's face, which was hidden behind his terrifying spiritual power, became colder and colder. He naturally knew what the Elder Master Bai meant. It was to question him. Why did he treat the Foam people like this? Why did he give the formation spirit to Huang Yi? The Star Lord looked coldly at the Elder Master Bai and spoke unhurriedly. This is the agreement. The condition for Huang Yi to take action. In the face of the Azure Dragon Galaxy, we can't do without him. It was a very simple and direct reason, but in Elder Master Bai's ears, it was incomparably jarring. Elder Master Bai had been good to the Foam people for so many years, and he had secretly taken care of the Foam people. But in the end, the Star Lord had actually sold out the entire Foam people just because he wanted a rope in Huang Yi. At this moment, Elder Master Bai remembered what the Star Lord had said. He was no longer a member of the Foam people. As the Star Lord, he was only responsible for the entire Fire Phoenix Galaxy. He was not only responsible for the Foam people. These words suddenly surged into Elder Master Bai's mind. Yes, the Star Lord was already a member of the Foam people. For the Fire Phoenix Galaxy, he could give up anything, let alone a mere Foam people. Huang Yi had such powerful combat power, so he was obviously indispensable in the war against the Azure Dragon Galaxy. Compared to Huang Yi, the Foam people were obviously not so important. Or rather, the ordinary Foam people were not so important. Therefore, the Star Lord chose Huang Yi and did not hesitate to sell out the Foam people. Perhaps it was just to vent his anger for Huang Yi. Of course, the emperors of the Foam people could not be killed. This was the Star Lord's bottom line. The war was imminent, and every emperor was important. With one more ruler, their chances of winning would be higher. He was extremely disappointed, but what was wrong with this? After all, he was standing in a different position. The funny thing was that the Foam people actually thought that they had a very high position in the Star Lord's heart. In the end, he could only become an abandoned pawn. After thinking it through, Elder Master Bai cupped his hands and bowed to the Star Lord before leaving the hall. The Star Lord remained silent. In Star Lord's eyes, what happened to the Foam people was not a big deal at all. As long as the king of the Foam people was still around, even if the entire Foam people were killed, he wouldn't feel sad at all. He had never thought that the entire Foam people would have such an important position in Star Lord's heart. In the central region, the Phoenix clan's land, the battle was still going on. More and more Feng people's warriors were killed by Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. As for the old woman and the old man, they were stopped by Huang Yi from beginning to end. There was no possibility of them interfering. It was not until more than half of the Feng people's clansmen had been killed that Huang Yi slowly spoke. That's enough. Hearing Huang Yi's words, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun chose to stop. In this battle, the Feng people could be said to have suffered heavy casualties. Seeing Xiao Chun and Lin Yun stop what they were doing, the old woman and the old man glared at Huang Yi. In this regard, Huang Yi's face was calm. All right, let's put an end to what happened back then. Take your people and get lost. After killing so many Feng people, Huang Yi actually said such a sentence casually in the end. Hearing this, the anger in the old woman and the old man's hearts could be imagined. However, there was nothing they could do now. Huang Yi had the formation spirit essence, and their arrangement was completely useless. It was useless against him. In fact, there was no point in even saying harsh words. With a cold snort, the old woman and the old man glanced at the Feng people who were still lucky enough to survive. They didn't stay for long and directly left with their people. Of course, the corpses that were killed were also taken away by them. After the Feng people left, only Xiao Chun and the other two remained. Looking at Huang Yi, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun didn't say anything. Although the two of them were also curious about what agreement Huang Yi and Star-Lord had reached to make Star-Lord do this. Since Huang Yi didn't say anything, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun wouldn't ask further. Let's go. After saying softly, Huang Yi took the lead and walked into the clan land. This was once the clan land of Phoenix. Huang Yi couldn't be more familiar with everything around. Moreover, after so many years, Huang Yi didn't know what to feel when he came here again. There were memories and some complicated feelings. If the battle between the Feng people and Phoenix hadn't happened back then, Phoenix might not have been trapped for so many years. You are very curious. What did Star-Lord say to me? Huang Yi said faintly as he walked. Hearing this, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun didn't reply. If Huang Yi said these things, they would just listen. It didn't matter if he didn't say anything. And Huang Yi didn't seem to have any intention of hiding it from the two of them. As he walked forward slowly, he said unhurriedly, because in the Azure Dragon Galaxy, Star-Lord wanted to release Phoenix and needed my power to deal with someone in the Azure Dragon Galaxy. And you all know what happened back then. It was because of him that our Phoenix had been trapped for so many years. So I made a request. Kill 100 kings of the Battle Ancestor realm from the Feng people. At this point, Huang Yi turned his head and glanced at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, but didn't continue. Because it was enough. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun could completely guess what had happened. After Huang Yi made this request, the Star-Lord agreed almost without hesitation. Because compared to the Feng people, Huang Yi was obviously more important. After that, the Feng people were abandoned, and the Star-Lord only had one request, and that was that the Emperor couldn't be killed. Huang Yi did this for two reasons. On one hand, it was because of the hatred from back then. On the other hand, it was probably to weaken the power of the Feng people. It was obvious that after this battle, the Feng people wouldn't be able to recover for a long time. And if the Phoenix was born, the two races would continue to fight like before. This wasn't what Huang Yi wanted to see. Rather than waiting for the Feng people to make a move, it was better to strike first and gain the upper hand. Take the initiative to cripple the Feng people so that they couldn't continue to target the Phoenix. This way, after the Phoenix was born, they could live a stable life. And the two races wouldn't continue to fight for various reasons. This was probably planned by Huang Yi before the birth of the Feng people. Therefore, he didn't put the Feng people in his eyes at all. In Huang Yi's eyes, everything that the Feng people did before was useless. Since the Star-Lord and Huang Yi reached an agreement and gave up the Feng people, no matter what the Feng people did, they were destined to fail. Unfortunately, no one in the Feng people saw this point. It was indeed a little ridiculous. At the same time, in the Star-Lord's palace, Black Matriarch naturally knew what happened in the Phoenix territory. She didn't say much about this result. She just sighed softly. It seemed that her previous worries were really unnecessary. The Star Lord had already made a decision and acted. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:20. Huang Yi walked around the Phoenix Clan's land and confirmed that the Feng people had left. Then, he contacted the Phoenix Clan's elders. He asked them to lead their people to the Phoenix Clan's land. The Phoenix Clan's people who were in the White Rock continent were extremely excited when they received Huang Yi's message. It had always been a dream for all the Phoenix Clan's people, especially the older generation, to be able to return to their former clan's land. Perhaps the younger generation like Huang Lin did not have deep feelings for the Phoenix Clan's land because they were born in the Earth Abyss. However, the older generation of Phoenix Clan's people were different. They had deep feelings and were obsessed with the Phoenix Clan's land. In a small city in the White Rock continent, the Phoenix Clan's people were arranged to stay in a big mansion by Tian Tai. At this moment, the Phoenix Clan's elders were sitting in a circle in the main hall. When they received Huang Yi's message, they smiled excitedly. Great! We can finally return to our clan's land. Yes, I didn't expect to be able to return to our clan's land in my lifetime. Cut the crap. Let's make arrangements and set off as soon as possible. Everyone was anxious to return to their clan's land. Soon, the Phoenix Clan's people got to work and prepared a rush to the Phoenix Clan's land. The Phoenix Clan's people were obviously excited, but the Feng people were completely different. At the end of this battle, not to mention that the Phoenixes suffered heavy losses, just the choice of the Star-Lord alone was something that the Phoenixes did not expect. Seeing the many experts of the Phoenix Clan injured and dragging many corpses, the rest of the Phoenix Clan's clansmen in the Phoenix Clan's territory were dumbfounded. Didn't they go to the Phoenix Clan's land to ambush them? Why did they end up in this state? Could it be that they were defeated? They did not want to believe it. However, the scene in front of them told the Feng people that this was the truth. If they were not defeated, how could there be so many casualties? Moreover, looking at those who had survived, each of their expressions were extremely unsightly. Many of them even had lifeless eyes, as if they were walking corpses. It was hard to imagine what they had encountered in the Phoenix Clan. None of them paid any attention to the cries and discussions of the surrounding clansmen because they didn't know what to say. They had prepared for so long and paid such a huge price. They had almost emptied the Feng people's savings over the years. But in the end, what was the result? They returned in defeat. More than half of the Feng people's experts died. Moreover, these people were the backbone of the Feng people. Their cultivations were either War Ancestor Realm King or Holy Ancestor Realm. It could be said that this battle had broken the backbone of the Feng people. At least for a long time, the Feng people would not be able to recover. Not in the mood to care about anything else, the old woman and the old man returned to their residence. The two of them sat facing each other. Their eyes met, but they did not speak for a long time. Faced with such an outcome, even as the great ancestors of the Feng people and rulers, they did not know what to say. They had been defeated. They had been utterly defeated. Moreover, they had not been defeated by the Phoenix Clan, but by the Star-Lord. They had been defeated by the Star-Lord, whom they thought was one of their clansmen. The Feng people are no longer what they used to be. After a long while, the old man spoke faintly. It was not hard to imagine what the Feng people would face after this battle. They had lost more than half of their backbone. Although the two great ancestors were still around, the Feng people's strength had been greatly weakened. Moreover, the most important thing was the Star-Lord's attitude. From this matter, it was not hard to see that the Star-Lord had no feelings for the Feng people. In the eyes of the Star-Lord, the Feng people were no different from other forces. Hearing the old man's words, the old woman fell silent because she knew it was the truth. Just as the two of them were silent, the token at their waist suddenly flickered with a white light. Elder Master Bai's shadow slowly appeared in front of them. Seeing the Elder Master Bai, the old man and the old woman were not excited at all this time. In fact, there was even a trace of coldness in their eyes. If this guy is one of the Star-Lord's men, is he still a member of the Feng people? Is he still loyal to the Feng people? What are you doing here? The old woman asked the Elder Master Bai coldly. Sensing the changes in the old woman and the old man's expressions, the Elder Masterby revealed a bitter smile. He naturally knew what the two of them were thinking. Perhaps in their hearts, this matter was planned by him and the Star Lord. How many people died? After a moment of silence, the Elder Masterby asked in a low and steady voice. Hearing this, the old man sneered. Why? Are you still concerned about the life and death of the Foam people? Isn't this the result you want to see? 38 kings of the Battle Ancestor Realm died, and more than 300 Holy Ancestor Realm died. The old man sneered, but he still told the Elder Masterby the answer. Hearing this number, the Elder Masterby gasped, and his heart sank completely. Too ruthless. Huang is really too ruthless. He has completely crippled the Foam people. The result was worse than he had expected. Seeing that the Elder Masterby was silent, the old woman beside him sneered. Heh, why are you being so pretentious now? The decline of the Foam people is a foregone conclusion. There's no need to be so disgusting. In their opinion, the Elder Masterby was just being pretentious. In response, the Elder Masterby said in a low voice, I didn't participate in this matter, and I only found out about it later. This was the truth. The Elder Masterby indeed didn't participate in this matter. If he had known about it earlier, with the Elder Masterby's feelings for the Foam people, he would definitely have informed the Foam people in advance, even if he didn't intervene. At least, it would have reduced the casualties of the Foam people. Seeing that the Elder Masterby didn't seem to be lying, the old man and the old woman's expressions kept changing. In the end, the old man asked, why did the Star Lord do this? This was something that the old man and the old woman couldn't understand until now. Even if the Star Lord didn't have any feelings for the Foam people, his identity as a Foam people couldn't be erased for the rest of his life. After all, the blood flowing in his body belonged to the Foam people. How could he change this? As a member of the Foam people, it was the most unacceptable thing for him to treat his own people like this. In response to the old man's question, the Elder Masterby was silent for a moment before he finally said, It's because of interests. It's because the Foam people are not as important as Huang, to the Star Lord. Because of this, the old man and the old woman suddenly laughed when they heard this answer. Was it just because Huang was more important to the Star Lord? What a perfect answer. It was very realistic, but also very ridiculous. Because Huang was more important, the entire Foam people were abandoned. Please collect, vote, recommend. Chapter 33:21. Upon hearing Elder Masterby's words, the old man and the old woman fell silent. To them, this answer was so ridiculous yet true. Just because the Foam people were not as valuable as Huang, the Star Lord could abandon the Foam people without hesitation. It was just to let Huang vent his anger or to put his mind at ease. Indeed, after this battle, the Foam people would not be able to do anything to Phoenix for a long time. Phoenix could be said to have ushered in true peace. Since things had come to this, even if the Foam people were indignant, what could they do? They could only swallow this bitter fruit themselves. Looking at the old man and the old woman who were silent, Elder Masterby opened his mouth, but in the end, it turned into a silent sigh. Was there any point in saying anything else now? Elder Masterby could not help the Foam people, and there was no way he could help them. He left silently. The old man and the old woman did not ask him to stay. After the battle, the people of Phoenix finally returned to the Phoenix clan's land a few days later. After so many years, many of the older generation of Phoenix clan members cried tears of joy when they returned to their homeland. They did not expect that one day they would actually be able to set foot on this land again. Compared to the elation of the older generation of Phoenix clan members, Huang Lin and the younger generation were extremely curious. Was this the Phoenix clan's land that the elders had been talking about? The most important place in Phoenix clan? The environment was indeed much better than the abyss of evil. Compared to the abyss of evil, this place was simply like heaven. The rich spiritual energy and the beautiful scenery made it seem as though they were in a fairyland. Accompanied by Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, Huang Lin toured the entire Phoenix clan's land and the smile on his face never disappeared. This place is really beautiful. It's so much better than the abyss of evil. Do you think this will be my home in the future? Huang Lin said in disbelief. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun only smiled and nodded. This will naturally be your home from now on. Really? That's great. Huang Lin smiled happily. Looking at Huang Lin, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun smiled. This girl had supreme talent, but her temperament was incomparably pure, just like a child who loved to play. According to Huang Yi, when they were in the Earth Abyss's evil cave, there were no conditions for Huang Lin to break through to become a ruler. Now that Phoenix had returned, with Huang Lin's talent, as long as she was willing to cultivate hard, she could break through to become a ruler in a short time. However, this girl didn't seem to have any interest in cultivation at all. She didn't seem to want to cultivate at all. She only knew how to play all day. This made Huang Yi and her mother very worried. However, as a typical daughter slave, Huang Yi followed Huang Lin in many things. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun already knew that they were being chased by the Foam People for no reason. The person who gave this order was one of the young masters of the Foam People. However, that young master didn't participate in the battle in the Phoenix clan's territory previously. Otherwise, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun wouldn't have let him go so easily. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huang Yi nodded. He didn't stop them and only said faintly, "It's the same as before. It's still the same. Other than rulers, you can kill anyone." As he spoke, Huang Yi threw a voice transmission talisman to Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. "Take it. If there's anything, contact me. I'll rush over as soon as possible." Although the two of you have broken through to become rulers, the Foam People's foundation can't be underestimated. If you provoke them and they really use all their trump cards, it'll be difficult for the two of you to deal with them. A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. This was a fact. Although Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were rulers, if they really forced the Foam People into a corner, it would be difficult to deal with them. Xiao Chun and Lin Yun didn't refuse. They nodded and accepted the voice transmission talisman. With a backer like Huang Yi, why would they refuse? After all, Huang Yi's cultivation was second only to the Star-Lord. Moreover, this time, the two of them were not going to the Foam People to attack the entire Foam People. They were just going to talk to that young master and find out why he had issued the order to kill the two of them back then. Please add it to your collection, monthly votes, and recommendations. However, the two great ancestors of the Foam People soon appeared. The old woman and the old man appeared in front of Xiao Chun and Lin Yun at the same time. Looking at Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, the old woman and the old man's eyes were also filled with coldness. Do you really think that the Foam People can be bullied by others? They thought that Xiao Chun and Lin Yun had come to deliberately bully the Foam People. At the same time, when the old woman spoke, the old man was still looking around with a cold face. It was obvious that he was looking for Huang Yi. In his opinion, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun must have come here on Huang Yi's orders. Phoenix was still unwilling to let the Foam People go. Huang Yi wanted to take this opportunity to take the lives of the Foam People in one fell swoop. Once bitten, twice shy. Xiao Chun shook his head and said, "Once bitten, twice shy. There's no need to look for him. Senior Huang Yi is not here. The two of us are not here to deal with the Foam People. We're just here to seek an explanation." An explanation? Hearing this, the old man was puzzled. Why did Xiao Chun and Lin Yun come to the Foam People to seek an explanation? In response, Xiao Chun said unhurriedly, "Back then, the two of us had no enmity with the Foam People in the past. However, the Foam People attacked the two of us for no reason. Shouldn't we seek an explanation? Let's not talk nonsense. The two of us came here today only for that Feng Yu." Feng Yu was the young master who had attacked Xiao Chun and Lin Yun back then. Hearing this, the old man and the old woman frowned slightly. They had heard about the matter between Feng Yu and Xiao Chun. At that time, they did not take it to heart. After all, Feng Yu was one of the most talented people in the younger generation of the Foam People. As for Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, They were only battle ancestor realm kings. Feng Yu wanted to deal with Xiao Chun and Lin Yan. In the eyes of the old man and the old woman, it was not a big deal at all. Did the young master of the Feng people need any reason to capture the two of them? This was the overbearing attitude of the Feng people. Who would have thought that Xiao Chun and Lin Yan would break through to the ruler realm in such a short time? Moreover, they had formed a relationship with Phoenix. This time, because of the two of them, the Feng people had suffered heavy losses. Looking coldly at Xiao Chun and Lin Yan, the old woman said coldly, "What a joke. What do you think this is? With just the two of you, you want the Feng people to hand over the two of you?" The Feng people were naturally unwilling to hand over their own prodigies. What a joke. If they did that, where would the Feng people's face go? Xiao Qin did not care about this. If it was in the past, it would not be strange for the Feng people to have such confidence. Now, things were different. The Feng people can give it a try. Xiao Chun looked calmly at the old woman and said indifferently. Xiao Chun and Lin Yan were no longer the same as before. They had the confidence to face the Feng people directly. Perhaps the Feng people were indeed capable of taking them down, but they would definitely have to pay a huge price. Moreover, Xiao Chun and Lin Yan still had Huang Yi behind them. Under such circumstances, would the Feng people pay such a huge price for a prodigy of the younger generation? As expected, after hearing Xiao Chen's words, although the old woman was furious, she did not directly refute him this time. How could she not see that if the Feng people did not hand over the prodigies in the next few days, Xiao Chun and Lin Yan would not be kind to each other? Provoking two rulers was definitely not a wise choice for the phoenixes at the moment. Just as everyone was confronting each other in the sky, in a beautiful courtyard in the Feng people's territory, Feng Yu, who was mentioned by Xiao Chun, was looking at everything in the sky with his mother. Looking coldly at Xiao Chun and Lin Yan, the beautiful woman said coldly, "Do you really think that a crow can become a phoenix after flying to a branch?" Her tone was cold. In response, Feng Yu, who was at the side, did not say anything. His expression was extremely complicated. The two fellows whom he had looked down upon before had now grown to such an extent that even the two patriarchs were somewhat helpless against them. All of these changes were too fast. It was so fast that Feng Yu could not adapt at all. Xiao Chun and Lin Yan had far exceeded his expectations. If he could do it again, Feng Yu might not provoke them again. Offending two rulers for Feng Ling, even a fool would know what to do. Unfortunately, it seemed that Feng Yu would not have the chance to do it again. Please collect, vote, recommend. If the two of us hadn't broken through to become rulers and Feng people hadn't suffered heavy injuries, would you have let us go? When the time comes, the two of us will fall into the hands of the Feng people. Do you still need me to tell you what will happen to us? When Feng Yu was powerful, Feng people were completely unreasonable and did not care about other things. Now, the Feng people were weak. Now, they were telling him to leave them at that time. It was simply laughable. Back then, if Xiao Chun and Lin Yan were careless and fell into the hands of the Feng people, one could imagine their fate. They would definitely die. The Feng people would not care if they were innocent. In any case, they did not need any reason to kill them. Therefore, now that Xiao Chun and Lin Yan had the upper hand, what reason did they have to let the Feng people go? They did not attack the entire Feng people, which was already considered concession. If they were not even willing to hand over Feng Yu, there was nothing to talk about. They would just attack. Hearing this, and looking at Xiao Chun and Lin Yan's determined expressions, the old man knew that there was no room for negotiation. He had once experienced the grievance from Xiao Chun and Lin Yan. This time, he seemed to have experienced it from the old man. He also experienced the feeling of being powerless to resist. However, this time, before the old man could speak, a beautiful woman flew out from the clan below. The beautiful woman was none other than Feng Yu's mother. When she heard Xiao Chun and Lin Yan's word from below, she was immediately furious. Without thinking, she directly rushed up. In her opinion, How could the Feng people be humiliated like this? These two people were simply reckless. Not only did they want to capture her son, but they also dared to be disrespectful to the old man. Such people should be killed directly. Moreover, this was the Feng people's clan. As a member of the Feng people, the beautiful woman did not think that the Feng people would be defeated, nor did she think that the Feng people would bow their heads. In the beautiful woman's heart, the Feng people were the strongest. No one could be a match for them. Even Star-Lord was from the Feng people. Which force in the entire Fire Phoenix galaxy could compare to them? Therefore, as soon as the beautiful woman appeared, she immediately shouted angrily at Xiao Chun. "You're courting death. My son couldn't capture you, but you didn't know how to run away like rats. You actually dared to take the initiative to come here and disrespect the Feng people's ancestor. There's a path to heaven, but you refuse to take it. There's no door to hell, but you barge in. Today, I'll definitely capture the two of you." The beautiful woman shouted coldly. Hearing this, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun's eyes locked onto her. From the words "just now," it was not difficult to determine that this beautiful woman should be Feng Yu's mother. Even though she had broken through to the warlord ancestor realm, it was still the same. Feng Ling was still able to break through to the warlord ancestor realm with her bloodline stolen and her broken body. It was indeed obvious that she was extraordinary. Moreover, Xiao Chun and Lin Yun were here for Feng Yu. To be honest, helping Feng Ling was just a matter of convenience. There was no conflict between the two sides. Therefore, after hearing Feng Ling's words, Xiao Chun did not refuse and nodded. "Wait first. We'll talk about it later." Hearing this, Feng Ling's eyes flashed with joy. Although Xiao Chun did not directly agree, since he said so, Feng Ling knew that Xiao Chun had tacitly agreed. Seeing Feng Ling suddenly appear, the expressions of many of the Feng people's experts changed slightly. Many of them knew Feng Ling. After all, Feng Ling's parents were only Feng people, and they were also elders. Unfortunately, they died early, which was why such a thing happened to Feng Ling. Back then, the matter of Feng Yu and his mother seizing Feng Ling's bloodline was not a secret among the Feng people. Many people knew about it. However, by the time they found out, Feng Ling's bloodline power had already been taken away. In addition, Feng Ling's parents had died early, so naturally, no one would stand up for her. Although no one had ever said such a thing. However, everyone knew that Feng Ling's bloodline power was extremely important for Feng Yu to be where he was today. Please collect, please vote, please recommend. Before she died, the beautiful woman didn't expect that she would be killed like this. Moreover, it was in the Feng people's territory, in her own home. He was killed in front of so many experts of the Feng people and even his own patriarch. He looked at Xiao Chun in shock, as if he was wondering where Xiao Chun got the guts to kill him in such a blatant manner. Perhaps it was only at this last moment that the beautiful woman understood that in front of a ruler, even if there were many powerhouses of the Feng people protecting her, it was useless, and it could not be a reason for her to be arrogant. Unfortunately, it was too late for her to understand all of this now. She fell unwillingly. As the beautiful woman died, the old woman looked at Xiao Chun angrily. "How dare you kill someone in front of the Feng people? Why wouldn't I dare? This person spoke rudely and wanted to die. I was just fulfilling her wish." Xiao Chun only replied indifferently. He did not restrain his gaze at all as he looked into the old woman's eyes, completely ignoring the anger that was about to burst out of the old woman's eyes. She wanted to make a move and teach them a lesson. She even wanted to kill Xiao Chun and Lin Yun. However, her remaining rationality kept telling her that she could not do that. Once she did that, it would be a disaster for the Feng people. Moreover, even if she made a move, would she be able to kill Xiao Chun and Lin Yun? It was almost impossible, because even if the Feng people had the ability to deal with Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, what about Huang Yi? What about the entire Phoenix? What should they do then? Seeing that the old woman was angry but was holding back from making a move, the surrounding experts of the phone people fell silent. They knew the old woman's character very well. How could she have suffered such a loss in the past? If it was in the past, the old woman would have gone berserk and fought Xiao Chun. Now, she did not dare to make a move. Even if Xiao Chun killed the beautiful woman in front of her, she could only choose to tolerate it. If even their own patriarch was like this, what could they do? Could it be that he would rush to his death? The phone people were really no longer the same as before. Even their own patriarch could only swallow his anger at this time. How sad was that? However, the beautiful woman did not die with a grudge. Who asked her to be so stupid that she could not even understand the situation on the field? Even their patriarch did not make a move and could only choose to tolerate it. Did she really think that Xiao Chan would not dare to make a move on her? In the end, it was no different from what Xiao Chen had thought. Even if he killed the beautiful woman in front of so many people, the Feng people still did not dare to make the slightest move, just like when they faced Feng Ling's matter back then. It was impossible for the Feng people to provoke two rulers for a dead person. Chapter 33:26. In Feng Ling's eyes, Feng Yu's expression, which was as if he was about to devour someone, was actually so pleasant. However, at this moment, Feng Yu did not pay attention to Feng Ling. His eyes were fixed on Xiao Chun. Seeing his mother being killed with his own eyes, Feng Yu's mood could be imagined. However, Xiao Chun did not care about this at all. Over the years, Xiao Chun had seen too many families break up. He had killed Feng Yu's mother, but so what? Because both sides were enemies, that was all. Moreover, when Feng Yu attacked Xiao Chun and Lin Yun, did he ever think of Qin Shu, Lu Bingning, and the others? No. Therefore, there is no need to be merciful to enemies because the other party would not be merciful to you. You came out on your own, just like that? Just nice. I don't have to look for you. Xiao Chun said slowly with an indifferent tone. He slowly stretched out his palm and grabbed towards Feng Yu. Seeing this, the old woman could not hold it in this time and immediately wanted to stop Xiao Chun. At the same time, sensing the old woman's actions, Lin Yin snorted coldly and also made a move to stop the old woman. You. Being stopped by Lin Yin, the old woman was incomparably furious. However, she knew Lin Yun's strength. Although this fellow had just broken through to become a ruler, his combat strength was not inferior to hers at all. He was simply a freak. Being stopped by Lin Yun, the old woman naturally could not do anything. As for Feng Yu, although he was a god-favored one of the Feng people, his cultivation had already reached the king level of the War Ancestor realm. However, in front of Xiao Chun, he still did not have the slightest ability to resist. Facing the overwhelming pressure from Xiao Chun, Feng Yu gritted his teeth and wanted to break free. Unfortunately, his struggle was useless in front of Xiao Chun. He could only watch helplessly as Xiao Chun grabbed the air and instantly restrained him. At the same time, the corpse in his arms also fell out of his hands and fell down. Looking at his mother's corpse falling to the ground, Feng Yu's eyes were completely red, blood red, and he angrily said, "Mother." As a son, he could only watch helplessly as his mother was killed in front of him. Now, he couldn't even protect his mother's body. However, Xiao Chun did not care about Feng Yu's roar. He slowly raised his hand, and Feng Yu was directly pulled to his side. He instantly took action to seal Feng Yu's cultivation, and at the same time, his own spiritual energy tightly enveloped Feng Yu. "I'll kill you. I'll kill you." He struggled frantically and cursed non-stop. Towards Feng Yu's actions, Xiao Chun did not pay the slightest attention. After successfully capturing Feng Yu, Lin Yun and the old woman tacitly stopped. After all, Feng Yu had been captured and the two of them had no reason to continue attacking. That's right. Let's write off the previous matter. Subsequently, with the help of Xiao Chun, she began to merge the bloodline strength. Because the bloodline energy belonged to Feng Ling, it was clearly much easier for Feng Ling to fuse with the bloodline energy when compared to Feng Yu. The two of them seemed to be born as one, so Feng Ling did not feel any resistance as the power of the bloodline fused into her body. Naturally, it became a part of him. After so many years, the bloodline power had been lost and recovered. Moreover, the bloodline power that was originally in Feng Yu's body had only truly displayed its power when it came to Feng Ling's body. After so many years, Feng Yu had only fused 1/10 of the power of the bloodline power, but Feng Ling was different. Therefore, with the fusion of the bloodline power, Feng Ling's cultivation was also crazily increasing. From the beginning of the warlord ancestor realm, she quickly rushed to the small accomplishment and then to the advanced accomplishment. She still did not stop. Even Xiao Chun was slightly surprised at this moment. It seemed that Feng Ling's talent was even higher than he had imagined. Her bloodline power was not simple, and Feng Yu was simply a piece of trash. He had seized her bloodline power, but after so many years, he was still unable to completely control it. No wonder after all these years, Feng Yu was still only at the small accomplishment of the warlord ancestor realm. If the bloodline power had always been in Feng Ling's hands, as long as she had enough opportunities, this girl would probably have a chance to break through to become a ruler. On the other hand, this also fully reflected the stupidity of the Feng people. They did not protect a true genius and actually chose a piece of trash. The same bloodline power in Feng Yu's body only turned him into an ordinary genius. However, in Feng Ling's body, she was definitely a top genius. In fact, she could even add another ruler to the Feng people. Moreover, it would be a terrifyingly talented ruler. This girl's talent is probably not as good as Huang Lin's. Looking at Feng Ling, who had fused with the bloodline power, Lin Yun, who was at the side, was also somewhat curious. Huang Lin was definitely the most talented person that Lin Yun had ever seen so far. Now, Feng Ling, who had recovered her bloodline power, was actually not inferior to Huang Lin in terms of talent. How could this not be surprising? It could be said that in the entire central region, it would be difficult to find a third person whose talent was comparable to Huang Lin's. The Feng people actually gave up on such a peerless genius just like that. Looking at Feng Ling, who had closed her eyes to cultivate, Xiao Chun stood up. He had already helped Feng Ling fuse with the bloodline power, so Xiao Chun could not help with the following matters. However, the bloodline power originally belonged to Feng Ling. Hence, she only needed to be given some time, and there was nothing to worry about.